Technically, it wasn't an exhibition because it ended up being sanctioned as a pro fight, but it basically was. 2024 saw Mike Tyson return to the ring to fight YouTuber Jake Paul. The event, which Paul won, was streamed by 65 million people on Netflix, making it the most streamed sporting event ever at the time. But many complained of buffering and freezing. And as for the fight itself, well, it was considered an entertaining disaster. I mean, it wasn't prime Tyson. He was 58. And after the fight, Paul, who was 27 at the time, said he'd actually gone easy on Tyson towards the end. Now, Mayweather-McGregor in 2017 was a better watch, despite Mayweather going rope-a-dope early on, but it was way too expensive. Pay-per-view was 75 quid, and in the stadium, the cheapest ticket was over 370. Now, this next one you could have watched for free, only because the pay-per-view had streaming issues, so they had to open it out. I'm talking about Tiger versus Phil in 2018, which was nicknamed The Match. Massive names and massive rivals going head-to-head. On paper, it worked. In reality, it didn't. The two players were mic'd up, so we all thought we'll get fascinating insight. We'll be able to hear them insult each other for 18 holes. But what we actually got was more heavy breathing and sniffles. And for two GOATs, the golf itself was bang average. And speaking of GOATs, let's end with Messi and Ronaldo. In 2023, an exhibition between PSG and the Riyadh All-Star 11 saw them share a pitch for possibly the final time. To be fair, it was a goal fest, which PSG won 5-4, and Messi and Ronaldo both scored. But it was obvious they were past their prime. El Clasico, this was not. And with it being in Saudi, there were more sports washing claims. So there you have it. Exhibitions that have let us down. And I didn't even have time to mention the Community Shield.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan, plus get an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. It is just coming around at 4 minutes past. It's a glorious bank holiday Monday, May the 25th. Gabby, good morning, mate.
Good morning, Jeff. What a weekend it's been, the weather, but somehow my kids don't want to go outside because there's no pool.
No, you're kidding.
There's no pool. It's not like holiday, Dad. I'm like, are you joking? This is where they all want to go on holiday, Jeff. When we get the good weather, too hot outside, too hot, no pool. Honestly, these kids, mate, drive me insane, Jeff.
I mean,
it's ridiculous, mate.
I get it. Even when the weather's fantastic over here, it always feels different when you're abroad, when you're away on holiday, you know, or when you're at home and on holiday, because you can take a dip in the sea. You can take a dip
cool down, yes.
You can go for a couple of beers. And
we used to be outside non-stop when I was younger, Jeff, in this weather. Enjoy it. Go and play football. Go and sit in the park. Have a picnic. Different era.
Yeah.
Shame.
It is, mate, but it has been glorious. How was Istanbul? You enjoyed
Istanbul's
it?
Mate, I really enjoyed the city. A bit chaotic. Doesn't sleep, by the way, Jeff. Coming back to your hotel at maybe 1 a.m. everywhere rammed. All the shisha bars and restaurants, all very rammed. But the Villa fans had the time of their lives. So many kids there, so many father and sons, partners together. It was an amazing experience and something that I think Villa fans want to see more of.
Yeah.
You get a bit greedy, Jeff, when you win something. You're like, I want that next season.
Well, why
Same
not?
again.
I mean, to say it was comprehensive is an understatement.
Yes.
You know, and look, I mean, Freiburg weren't great, but that didn't matter. You just got to beat what was put in front of you, and they did it so easily.
It was easy, but it was organised, Jeff. They didn't go man for man and fly forward from the first whistle and disrespect Freiburg. They were organised defensively, but there's big teams in the competition. FC Porto were very good against Forest, unlucky to go out. You had Roma in there as well. Villa are on that harder side as well. So people that say it's a lot easier now, it is easier without the Champions League teams in it, but there's still some big teams in it. Lyon are a decent side as well. So I'm sure Roma, Lyon and Porto, all Forest in the final would have been a lot tougher than Freiburg.
Yeah. It was to see how Bournemouth and Sunderland doing it next season.
How amazing for their fans, though, Jeff.
Oh, for both of them.
Bournemouth fans must be thinking does Bournemouth Airport fly to certain places? They're going to have to...
Yeah, it does. Bournemouth Airport's very good, mate. Goes
like a private one, isn't it?
A lot of places.
Nice and small. I mean, it's nice and small.
It's small, but you get plenty of different places.
Yes, lovely.
It was quite interesting. The sort of text about Sunderland getting in there and... Sunderland supporters saying, you know, Newcastle, can we borrow your airport? Because a lot of time they're going to have to fly from Newcastle Airport to get themselves out to their various destinations.
It's a dream, isn't it, Jeff? It's a dream for a fan. It's a dream for a fan. I mean, if you're Sunderland, you're thinking, wow, we got promoted last season. Even look in Italy, Como getting promoted. And then they're in the Champions League now. Yeah. So many fantastic stories across Europe. But Sunderland fans and Bournemouth fans must be thinking, I hope we get some big ties. Amazing for them.
Yeah. And by contrast, of course, if you looked at Italy, Milan only in the Europa League, missing out on the Champions League.
So imagine that, Jeff. Imagine Milan playing Bournemouth going to Milan, or Sunderland going to Milan next season. Honestly, it's an amazing story. And teams like Chelsea, their fans, I can hear, we're so happy we're not in the Conference League. We're so happy that we're only going to have one game a week. It's a bit embarrassing to hear that from Chelsea fans. But Sunderland, Bournemouth, and even Brighton, Conference League.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will do some good business in the summer. They'll probably be favourites as well for the Conference League.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got every chance of winning that, provided they don't play like they did yesterday.
I know. It's weird, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. So, final day of the Premier League then. And, of course, the big headline, West Ham's 14-year stay in the top flight came to an end as Spurs got the win they needed against Everton to stay up. I mean, Everton were awful, let's be brutally honest about it. But Spurs did what they needed to do. Is there an argument that West Ham are a little bit unfortunate in the sense that 39 points has been enough to stay up every year since 2011?
It's incredible, isn't it? But did they do enough this season to stay in the Premier League? I don't think they did. You know, Jeff, managerial problems, defensive problems. Yes, Mavropanos got better throughout the season. Disasi coming in was okay, but going forward, no player, Jeff, got double figures. Going forward, scoring goals, midfield as well. Fernandes, very good player. Souček, is he the answer at the moment? Somerville got injured for a large portion of the season. If he was fit, maybe a different story. But end of the day, if you finish with the third least points in the Premier League, you deserve to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of West Ham fans would be pointing the finger at the ownership, they'll be pointing the finger at the manager, and they should also point the finger at the recruitment, which right to the very end, really. Okay, Taddy Castellanos has done well since he came in, but what about Pablo?
He didn't look great.
20-odd million pounds, he hasn't scored a goal for them. He never looked like scoring.
No, whenever I watch him, I'm like, come on then. Just looks like a bit of a workhorse. Doesn't look like he's got the quality. Callum Wilson has done very well, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, I think he scored 6 goals, is it? No, 7 goals he scored, Callum Wilson, this season in the Premier League. But yeah, when you look at West Ham, even yesterday, Jeff, the first half, I'm like, guys, you needed to win, not draw. There was no energy. The off at left back was terrible. And it seemed a bit draining for the West Ham fans watching their team. And they've got a lot to answer for. And I've heard, Jeff, it wasn't all rosy all season under Nuno Santo with the coaches and the players. I've heard that it was a bit frosty at times. And
sounds like he fell out with so many players and his own coaching staff.
I know one of the coaches that is there, Robbo. He was at Villa with me under Tim Sherwood, and he likes to speak his mind. And it'd be interesting to see how that relationship got on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, talking of Nuno, former West Ham manager Alan Pardew had his say on the final word last night about his future.
The interesting thing, I think, from what I'm hearing, which is strange noises that some sources that are close to me are suggesting that Nuno might not be there. Not in a form of being sacked, because I think he's trying to do a decent job, and I think he's had a good go at it in this second part of the season. That he has it also all parties for him to go and get someone experienced who knows the Championship, like Scotty Parker. His name keeps coming up.
Yes.
And that's not just from one source. That's like 3 or 4 sources. So it'd be interesting to see. I was interested to see what Nuno said today, actually. I can't imagine he would give anything away, but interesting times at West Ham in terms of how they're going to play out what is a very difficult agenda.
Well, Jack, who's a West Ham fan, has absolutely made up his mind about Nuno, and he called in the sports bar last night. Take a listen.
Don't get me started with Nuno, because I could go on for hours about him. I've never, ever liked him as a manager. You say, we haven't really convincingly won. We won the 3 games convincingly under him.
You went today. Give him some credit for today, though.
I'm not going to give him credit because
you won 3-0.
In the first 40 minutes, if you boys watched it, it was all over us.
No, I watched the first 40 minutes. You were so bad.
Well, they hung in there, though.
No, I know, fair play to them, but Leeds in the second half was a complete no-show.
You showed fight and spirit.
Complete no-show, Leeds in the second half, and fair play to West Ham. They scored.
Fighting spirit was when it mattered against Newcastle. You know what I mean? Newcastle and Brentford have got blood in their hands for keeping Tottenham up, I tell you.
So, look, I mean, as far as Nuno is concerned, we'd like to hear from you, West Ham fans, of course. 03717223344. Look, the thing that can't be pointed at him alone by any means.
No.
But I will say, Julian Lopetegui, Nuno's got a worse win rate than Lopetegui had at West Ham. And reports are that if the club got relegated, West Ham could sack Nuno without compensation.
I think it's a no-brainer.
I think it's inevitable, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, and I do agree with you, Jeff. It's not just Nuno. Whose idea was it to bring in Fulkrug? That didn't work. How many strikers have West Ham tried? Haven't worked.
Yeah.
Castellanos was too little, too late. Very good player. I like him. Pablo, another one that hasn't worked. The issues with Paqueta jumping ship and heading off to Brazil. He's got some blame in this as well. He can't be forgotten. Just look at West Ham fans. We don't want David Moyes. He doesn't play the West Ham way. And we all said at the time, what is the West Ham way? Because the West Ham way has got you relegated, it seems, with what managers you were going for. So I'm sure David Moyes will be thinking to himself yesterday before the game, I'm professional. I want my team to do a good job, but you rushed me out the door, you fans and football club, after winning you a European trophy. Now you want me for a favour. And the Everton players didn't have just slippers on, Jeff. That's suntan cream on, strawberry daiquiris, the lot. They were never, ever, ever looking like they were going to do a favour. All the players, NGI, Barry, Dewsbury Hall, all of them were poor watching the game. It was a comfortable, easy win for Spurs.
It was. Everton never really threatened at all during the entire course of the game. So what happens next to West Ham? Championship next season. I wonder if West Ham fans expect that they will roll over the rest of the teams in the Championship, and who will be on the books at West Ham? Who are they going to lose during the course of the summer? Despair in East London, but up the road at Tottenham, there was rejoicing. Yep, consecutive 17th place finishes. Something to celebrate. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back pages. Celebrations on both sides of North London for different reasons. That's next.
Thomas Tuchel, when it comes to naming these squads, he always gives us a headline, doesn't he? Do you remember when we were broadcasting from Ascot and he left out Jude Bellingham? Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been omitted, so there is always a talking point. But I think if we'd sat down yesterday, before obviously we started getting all the news yesterday afternoon, and put our 26-man squad down, there's probably, 4 names in there that maybe we wouldn't have expected?
3 or 4, maybe, yeah.
None of us would have had Ivan Toney. I mean, not Ivan Toney wouldn't have had himself by the sound of things.
The fact he's at the embassy this morning tells you everything.
Yeah. As far as the back four is concerned, I think it will be James, Konsa, Gay and O'Reilly to start the first game of the tournament. I think we're pretty solid on that. So therefore, you can afford to take a couple of wild cards, a couple of slightly different players that fill gaps later on in the tournament. John Stones, we mentioned the lack of minutes. You know, we can't expect him to play 10 games or 8 games in 4.5 weeks. It's not viable bearing the amount of minutes that he's got under his belt. But class is permanent, and Thomas Tuchel likes to have him around. If you remember last year when we were in Girona, he wasn't fit. But he brought him into the camp even though he wasn't part of the squad because he wants him around. Why is that? Just explain to us what it is about him that he really likes.
Well, these boys have got to spend 7 weeks together, you know, so you've got to have the chemistry right within the group. If you've got some great influencers within that group, it's brilliant, you know, just to facilitate everyone. More importantly, I, as a manager, never had to worry about number 1 to 11. They looked after themselves. You take them to a major tournament, they're picked, they're happy. It's the ones from 12 to 26. I always used to make sure, as a manager, whenever we went to a major tournament, the day after we played, I would be one of the coaches on the training pitch, taking the coaching to show to those numbers 12 to 26, I'm here and I care about you.
Good morning, 19 minutes past 6 o'clock. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. But a jam to get this bank holiday Monday morning going. Would you believe Paul Weller, legendary frontman, 68 today. Incredible. Gabby, the jam? Like a bit of the jam?
Yeah, love jam, mate. Love it, mate.
Not jam, the jam.
Oh, brilliant.
I love Paul Weller, mate. One of my absolute favourites. Not just with the jam, with Style Council and on his own as well. Just brilliant. Can't believe he's 68. Cannot believe
Good
he's
age,
68.
Jeff. Good age.
Lorraine in Norwich. Morning to you, Lorraine. Arsenal lifted the Premiership trophy. Spurs avoided relegation. And Lewis Hamilton on the podium in Canada. A brilliant weekend in the Dyson bracket Spurs/Arsenal household. Very happy, even though I had to start work at 5:30 on a sunny bank holiday.
At least some people work bank holidays, Jeff.
Yeah, glad I've got you to keep me entertained this morning. Thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, 5:30. That was up at 4:30 this morning. You've had a lion.
5:30 is a lion.
Yeah, it's a
great lion.
Yeah. But morning, Lorraine. Thank you very much indeed for that. Now, time for a quick coffee break and a look at the back pages with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT. Sponsored by Costa Express. Freshly ground Costa coffee for a quality day.
Look at that. And Olivia Bazaglo is with us. Morning, Olivia.
Morning, Olivia.
Morning. How are we both?
Yeah, good. Really good.
Good. Well, as you can imagine, all of the back pages are dominated by, it's actually quite a lot of three sort of stories in one. So you've got ups and downs of a crazy season. You've got De Zerbi, then you've got Jared Bowen on the back page of The Star. On the back page of the Mail, cheers and tears, Premier League final special. Got a picture of Mikel Arteta with Miles Lewis-Skelly and the team in the background, and then Pep and Salah both wiping their tears. And on the back page of the Sun, Arteta is on a high. Now for Budapest, a chance for them to do the double this weekend. You were made to apologise, Gabby, to all of the Arsenal fans by Piers Morgan.
It wasn't a sincere apology.
No.
It was a bit of banter with Piers Morgan. But listen, they got it over the line. It hasn't been the best quality this season, but I just look at Pep Guardiola leaving, the pressure on Maresca. I look at Liverpool's issues in that squad. They've got to reinvest even more money. I look at Chelsea. Alonso's got to invest money as well and sort that squad of players out. Villa, back in the Champions League, will be difficult for them to have a title challenge with funds. I think Arsenal could dominate again next season. I really do.
Just side note from that, who let Piers Morgan on the pitch yesterday?
Alf Human or something.
That is unacceptable.
How is he getting on?
How's he had a Premier League medal around his neck?
No, he's so annoying.
How have the club allowed that
so
to
annoying.
happen?
He's so annoying, honestly.
Don't worry. He won't be boasting or bragging or saying anything about it, will he?
That's funny, Jeff. I got the message last week. Do you fancy doing the phone-in after the Champions League final? It's 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I thought, yeah. Why not?
Oh,
Why
God.
not? Why, please, PSG, we are praying.
Yeah, imagine you're going to have fun if Arsenal win that.
I know.
Yeah.
Jeff,
But you know, the daft thing is when you look at the league table now, they've won by 7 points.
I know.
So when you look at the record books, you're going to think, well,
7
that was
points.
straightforward. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
7 points.
Exactly.
It's a significant margin.
Yeah,
so
spot on.
well done to them.
do you agree, Jeff, with Gabby, that you think Arsenal could potentially dominate from here on out?
Yeah, I do. And for the exact reasons that Gabby said, you know, there are so many flaws in other sides, you know, that it's hard to see who the immediate challengers are going to be. Look, it might be City. Maresca might do a brilliant job there. I just worry, though, that obviously Silver and Stone's leaving. Is anybody else going to want to follow Pep out of that door? You know?
Yeah, good shout.
Pep's, Pep
Rodri, yeah.
playing for Pep is massive.
Of course.
When he's not there, you know, with all due respect, playing for Enzo Maresca, it doesn't have quite the same lure, does it? That maybe.
If you're Arsenal, you're definitely thinking, okay, this could be our era.
I feel they have to. I think it has to be their era because of obviously it's taken them so long since the last one. And because, you know, they have been, you know, the best team wins the league, the most consistent team wins the league, and you can't argue that. But when, like you both say, when you look at the situation that every other club is in, if they don't go on and win a couple more from here, I think it's a really missed opportunity.
100%, yeah. Because I look at Chelsea, issues in that squad, Fernandes waving to the fans, saying goodbye. Yeah, 1 game a week's going to help. But I feel with Maresca, like, it'd be interesting to speak to Chelsea fans what day. Like, you're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
How was his time there? Do you think there was success?
Well, I mean, it depends what you consider success. I mean, winning, we should have won the Conference League, and I think any manager in charge of Chelsea probably would have done that. I really liked him. I didn't want him to go. We were very good in the big games, struggled with a low block, which I think City will struggle with. Well, City struggle with it anyway. They've struggled with it under Pep at times. But I think they'll struggle with it a little bit more under Maresca. But I do also think it feels like the right... He wants to play. He wants to play the way Pep played, and
the right decision. Isn't
I
it?
feel like it's the right decision for City.
Liverpool got so many problems in that squad.
Massive.
Isak injury prone. Ekatike won't play to the second half of the season.
They've got to find another big name striker.
Frimpong's not worked. Kirkes hasn't worked.
Who's going to replace Salah?
There's so much pressure on that Liverpool team, and if you're a betting man, you wouldn't see Slot with a job after October, November time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just quickly as well, on the back page of all of them, like I said, it's almost 3 stories, but De Zerbi hails best day of his career as victory sends West Ham down. What did you make of it? I suppose, is it the best day of his career keeping Spurs in the Premier League?
Listen, he's come in and done his job, hasn't he? But, like, I was watching the game, and I said before the game, I don't want to see, like, I get the fans relieved, but these players should have been walking around the pitch on their hands and knees saying sorry to the fans. And Vicario, I'm watching the game, I'm listening to the commentary with Gary Neville, who's spot on. This goalkeeper has done nothing in a Spurs shirt, been dreadful. And there's a clip of him offering out Seamus Coleman. Vicario, we've seen you punch, mate. You can't punch the ball. You're not going to be able to punch anybody. So we know you can't fight. So have some respect for a Premier League legend in Seamus Coleman. But that summed up Vicario yesterday. All over the sideline, trying to be a coach and jumping on the manager's back when they scored the first goal. Paulinho, I think, is an embarrassment to that football club. I'll get rid of him.
I mean, I think that, you know, Roberto De Zerbi deserves great credit for the sort of sense of positivity that he's brought to a club where there was only really negativity before him. But now he's got to be looking upstairs as well and thinking, okay, well, now they've got to back me. And they have to be ruthless. Ruthless. Yeah. They certainly need a goalkeeper. And another boy did well at the latter stages, but you saw beyond. They need a striker. They need a new central defender. They need a wide player. Yeah, they need massive investment. Yes. They need to be ruthless.
They need a new captain as well, don't they?
I would this morning, right? If I'm deserving a football club this morning, the list of players that I don't want, I would contact them this morning and their agents. Richarlison, don't come back to pre-season. Romero, don't come back. There were so many of them players I'd say, do not come back to this football club because 2 seasons in a row, where they're finished. Come on,
it's not a coincidence, can it? Because I think last season everyone put it down to the Europa League, didn't they? They said, we put all of our eggs in that basket, and that was the reason why the second half of the season they tailed off. So what are they giving the excuse for this season?
Injuries. No, everyone had injuries. They had a few more injuries, of course, but the players that were available for most of the season didn't perform.
Do you think, though, when you look at De Zerbi and the job he's done, 3 wins, 2 draws in his 7 games, he's kept them up. Do you feel like he is the right manager to maybe get Spurs out of this mess?
100%, yeah, and he's a ruthless guy.
Yeah.
I remember there was 2 players at Marseille, Rabiot and Jonathan Lowe, that had a fight.
And he just
sold them straight away. Like he's got that ruthlessness about him, and he's got to do it right now.
Yeah, and he will. Yeah. There's no question about that because he will see, apart from anything else, his future's at stake, and he'll know that a lot of those players who were out on that pitch yesterday, they beat Everton 1-0, but Everton, let's face it, were pretty darned awful. Yes, they beat Everton 1-0. Yes, they survived. Are they good enough? No, they are not, and he will know that only too well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Olivia, thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivia.
Indeed, and that was thanks to our friends at Costa Express. Simon, the Hull fan, says, morning, guys. A big well done to Hull City for promotion to the Premier League. Written off at the start of the season. Yes, they were, including by me. Now the promised land and getting a shot at Europe. Tell Gabby the Tigers are coming for the Villa. Simon, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the week, mate.
Tigers.
Yeah. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to what's going on north of the border and whether a domestic double could convince Martin O'Neill to stay as Celtic boss.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT. Sponsored by Costa Express. Freshly ground Costa coffee for a quality day.
Some of the attackers, Palmer and Foden, left at home. The 2 omissions probably that define the talking points of the squad.
But we all expected it. I've been saying it for the last 2 months, and Manchester City fans and Chelsea fans are like, no, you can't leave them out. It's Cole Palmer, it's Foden. We know what Palmer can do in big games, but when you're not performing in that position where we got so much talent, like Rodgers, Eze, Look at Bowen, unfortunate not to be in the squad. Gibbs White can't get in the squad. So I don't think it's a shock that Foden and Palmer don't make it.
One of the things that he has said, Thomas Tuchel, is that he wasn't going to take a batch of number 10s. He was going to take players that played in specific positions in that front line. He has only taken 3 of them. He couldn't take 5. He didn't want to take Foden and Palmer and then crowbar them into the team out of position. Is that the right call?
I think so, because we saw, going back to the last European Championships, Gareth Southgate tried to do that with Foden in particular, and he ended up having a nightmare of a tournament. Palmer was used only sparingly. So, yeah, I understand the argument. I would have taken one more in that number 10 position, because obviously you can play Bellingham deeper if needed as well. And I think if you're talking about taking one more, Gabby's dead right on form. Foden has been off it for a long time. Palmer has had an injury-afflicted season and hasn't really been the Cole Palmer of old. Morgan Gibbs-White would have been the one for me. You look at his numbers, his best ever goal-scoring season. He's carried Forest away from relegation danger into a major European semi-final. So I think of all the players that have been left out, he'll be concerned this morning. I was just thinking there, actually, can we lend a few of these to Scotland? You know, they'd appreciate it.
Unnecessary? Would you say unnecessary stoking the fires?
He is. I don't know whether that's an insult to England or Scotland at this moment in time. We'll dig deeper later.
Morgan Gibbs-White, the joint most goal contributions of any English player in the Premier League this season, didn't make the squad. 17 goals, Europa League semi-finalists. Come up with some big moments as well when Forest have needed it most. As a Forest man yourself, does that irk you a little bit?
I've looked at Gibbs-White's performances over the last 2 or 3 years. When he plays well, Forest play well. You know, he does have dips in form, to be fair, and it's probably cost managers their job on occasion, to be quite honest with you. But the bottom line is, at this moment in time, if you turn around and said who is...
There's a lot of talk about the independent football regulator. Some people love the sound of it, others don't. But what actually is it? And is it going to be any good for the game? In simple terms, it'll be an organisation not controlled by the Premier League, the EFL or the government, which will make sure all clubs are financially stable and don't rip off the fans. The aim is to make sure what happened to Bury, Derby and Reading doesn't happen again. Now, a significant reason clubs go under is because of dodgy owners financially mismanaging the club, but in theory, these should be a thing of the past with the new regulator. They'll be able to use data from the National Crime Agency to perform stronger fit and proper persons tests, and can even force owners to give up their stake in a club, which for certain supporters might be a welcome relief. It's likely good news for the EFL. The tension between them and the Premier League over a fair financial deal has been increasing in recent years. As it stands, talks have broken down. The Premier League backed out of recent negotiations, but the regulator will have the power to force through a deal, meaning more money for clubs lower down the pyramid. Now, this might sound simple, but in reality there's concerns this will open a legal can of worms, which could result in messy court cases involving the Premier League and the regulator. Now, that might all sound great, but do we really need it? Some say the downfall of Reading and Bury is an exception, not the rule. So as a whole, the most successful footballing pyramid in world football doesn't need regulation. They say it scares investors who can help grow the game. If those investors go elsewhere, well, the Premier League may no longer be the destination for the best players in the world.
Good morning to you. It is Bank Holiday Monday, May the 25th. It is 6:34 at the moment. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Andy says Arsenal won the title by fluke, and because all the other teams were so inconsistent. Even a mediocre City pushed them to the penultimate game of the season. A resurgent Man United will challenge next season. I'll call in next year to prove myself right. Andy, thank you very much. Now it is time for this.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
And now we're into the final week with the 2026 FIFA World Cup almost here. Thanks to Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier, talkSPORT is sending you and a friend to Dallas, Texas. You could be at England's first game against Croatia, June the 17th, with return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas match ball, the Trionder, all thrown in. So, ready to get that winning feeling? Here is how to enter. For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com, or you can text WIN, W-I-N, to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260, and entries have to be in by 4 o'clock next Monday. So that's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a TalkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN, just W-I-N, to 83338. And now someone who does have that winning feeling, Martin O'Neill and Celtic. They won another trophy at the weekend, this time the Scottish Cup, beating Dunfermline to seal the double. So what does that mean in terms of Martin O'Neill? Well, this week he said before the cup final that he doesn't really have the energy to go on far beyond this season. But does the double change that? Let's ask exactly that to talkSPORT Scottish correspondent David Tanner. Morning, David.
Morning, David.
Good morning, lads, from a gloriously sunny Scotland this morning.
Yeah, pretty nice down here as well, mate. I wonder if Martin's in two minds, you know. He probably goes through times when he thinks, I'm 74, this is a bit much for me, I want to step back. But there'll be another part of his head saying, why step back when I'm enjoying it and doing so well? What do you see the future as being for him?
Well, he suggested, Jeff, after the cup final at the weekend there, when Celtic tied down the double against everybody's expectations in a season of shambles at Celtic, he suggested that he will be speaking to the major shareholder, Dermot Desmond, this week, and will be discussing his future. He suggested that long-term he's not interested for the reasons that you've mentioned there. He is 74, he'll be 75 by the end of next season. But he suggested that he would be, at this point in the week, and I know how Martin can change his mind, and I've seen him change his mind over the years, but he would be interested in going back for another year. And after the week he's had, probably the biggest, the most high-pressure game in his 3 spells in charge of Celtic against Hearts to win the league last year, after coming through that in a cup win, if he isn't exhausted by that, he won't be exhausted by anything. So it's an interesting week, and I think he'll be offered it by Dermot Desmond. But a lot can change in Martin O'Neill's life in the space of a few days.
David, I think you're right. I think he will take it for another year. Before he took the first time Celtic job, before Nancy got it, he was doing a lot of media work. Then after he left, he was doing a lot of media work, keeping himself busy as well. And he loves that football club. And knowing Martin O'Neill from playing under him, especially with the young coaches he's got around him, especially Sean Maloney, that'll do a lot of the training. I think he will, mate. I think he will stay for one more year because no one loves Celtic more than Martin.
Yeah, and of course, at his first spell at Celtic, Martin didn't really visit the training ground except for 10 minutes on a Friday, famously, just like Cloughie. So he doesn't have to, do the hard yards, if you like, at Lennox in the training ground. But listen, he's had this team that Brendan Rodgers dismissed as being like a Honda Civic. He's had this team at ramming speed since the SPFL split. And he's managed to get a tune out of Dyson Maeda, who hadn't scored a goal in 18 games for club or country. And he managed to get something like, what was it, eight goals in 7 games out of him. And that was enough to win the title and to win the Scottish Cup for him. So he's still got the magic in there, Martin O'Neill. He can still get into people's heads. You'll know all about that. And I expect him to continue. But as I say, I keep saying this rider, Jeff, he can change his mind at any time, Martin. He can be a fickle beast.
I mean, look, people obviously speculating about Robbie Keane, who's left Ferencváros this week. Now, is there a possibility in your mind, David, that we could be maybe, because I think Martin himself has hinted that Celtic might be looking at a younger man. Could there be a Keane O'Neill dream team in charge?
Well, they certainly won't be looking at an older man, will they? That's for sure. There is nobody like that. I think there's every chance. Craig Bellamy's been mentioned as well. And Craig Bellamy, and Robbie Keane both had spells on loan at Celtic towards the end of their playing careers. Robbie stood down as manager of Ferencváros in Hungary at the weekend there, which I thought was interesting timing. And on the back of looking at Dermot Desmond's way of behaving over the past few years, if I were to pick a manager, the first thing he tends to go for is an Irishman. So I think Robbie on his own or with Martin would certainly be a logical guess at this time, Jeff.
David, I've got to ask you about this transfer for Hearts captain Shankland to Rangers, because a lot of Hearts fans on social media were fuming at the fact that he's contracted to 2028, but the club didn't tell the fans that there's a clause in there where he can leave for free. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So he can walk away now, and we expect him to sign for Rangers today. Listen, it was an act of gross negligence by Rangers not to sign Lawrence Shankland when they could have had him for free last season. The then director of football, Kevin Thelwell, told journalists it was Russell Martin's decision not to bring him in. Others feel it was Thelwell's call on that one. So that was a bizarre decision. And by goodness, he certainly punished Rangers for that. So, yeah, he is coming in. I can understand why the Hearts supporters are annoyed, but they got an extra year out of him, and what a year it was. Many, of course, are saying that it's a bizarre time for him to leave, just as Tony Bloom's magic and Derek McInnes's magic looks like it's building something at Hearts. But I think Rangers has always been his target since he was a kid, and this offer has obviously been too much for him to turn down. But I know, having worked with Barry Ferguson a couple of weeks ago at an event, Barry was of a view that, if you remember, Barry this time last year was caretaker manager at Rangers. Barry was of a view that it was all done and dusted, and he'd agreed terms with Lawrence Shankland to join Rangers under the new manager Russell Martin, and something went wrong after that. So this is, I think, Rangers putting things right, but a year too late for this season.
Brilliant, David. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, David.
Cheers, Jeff.
talkSPORT's Scottish football correspondent David Tanner there. Quick one from Andreas in Chelmsford. Good morning, Jeff and Gab. Still love the show. In response to the Man United fans saying Arsenal more or less won the league by default, can no one else see? The Premier League is such a tough league where so many teams take points off each other that it's much harder to win this league this way. Arsenal dealt with it better than anyone else. And Guy in Worcester says, Jeff, please have a word with the news lot. Ask them to stop with the fear-mongering weather reports. It is called summer, and we're lucky if we get a couple of days of this glorious weather. Make the most of it, Guy. Get the old budgie smugglers out, mate. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Yeah, West Ham relegated to the Championship. What changes need to happen this summer? If Nuno is to go, what kind of manager do you want? 03717 223344 is the number you need to ring. Plus, we'll talk Sunderland's European tour with the legend that is Kevin Ball. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
I thought it was great at the end of the game, the way the players were with him.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Emi Martinez picked him up.
Because we saw a wee side to him that you don't see.
Yes.
We saw a different side to him.
What was funny, though, when Emi Martinez picks him up, on the clip behind, you can see the players are a bit like Tyrone Mings. They're laughing like, oh, my God, how has he done that?
Yeah.
Because then they know that, like, the manager's not really like that. He doesn't like to be the centre of attention.
Yeah.
But it was incredible scenes, Ali, afterwards. So emotional for so many Villa fans. And we were lucky to be in the stadium.
Brilliant.
All the clips back home, Ali, like, so many places showed the game. thousands of fans on the streets still now celebrating across the world. How many fans I spoke to last night that come from Australia?
See,
They've got 4 flights to get here.
Same.
Some fans have not had a hotel room overnight. They've got the early flight this morning, so they just stayed up. Some fans have got to get back through Germany, through different parts of Europe to get home. But what that win means for every Aston Villa fan in the world, Ali, it's just unbelievable. I can't describe in words, and I hope we get some good callers on today, and they'll have their stories of what this means.
I'm
to
sure
them.
we will, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, 6. We're the champions, of course, rang out at Besiktas Park as Aston Villa get their hands on that Europa League trophy. I wonder if you've learnt the words by now, Gab. Here's your...
I know, mate, I know.
Well, listen, we're going to bring you back down here for a crashing bang, my friend. Here's your rendition of that classic last night in the stadium. Fantastic. Good on you. I was just...
Hilarious, mate.
I met all the Villa fans before the game, man, and they were brilliant, Gabby. Brilliant. Older gentlemen, young boys.
Ali, there's been no incidents.
Good morning, 6:47, Bank Holiday Monday, May the 25th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor, with you through until 10 o'clock. Headlines this morning. Pep Guardiola was in tears as he said goodbye to Manchester City. The club also bidding farewell to Bernardo Silva, John Stones and Ederson. Will there be more to follow? George Russell suffered a major blow to his Formula One title hopes as retirement from the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix handed victory to teammate Kimi Antonelli. And Spurs won a Premier League home game for the first time since December to secure their survival at the expense of London rivals West Ham. After the game, defender Mickey van der Ven admitted the whole situation was a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, obviously it's unacceptable that the last game of the season we're playing for relegation. Obviously, if you look at this club, Spurs is a massive club with some unbelievable players, with some unbelievable fans. If you look at the stadium today as well. Yeah, obviously it was a bit embarrassing to let it come to the final day, but we did it, and I think that's the most important.
On X, West Sussex Spurs have sent me a message saying, relieved Spurs fan this morning, Spurs embarrassing for 2 years. A lot being said about over-celebrating Spurs players. The players were celebrating what was a one-off cup final, probably the biggest game in our history for all the wrong reasons, but we got through it. We all know how embarrassing it's been. Let's take a quick call. Spurs fans, do you agree with Mickey van der Ven? Adrian is a Spurs fan. Morning, Adrian.
Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning, gentlemen. unfortunately, as a Spurs fan, I've got to say they were an embarrassment the whole season. And if they, it wouldn't surprise me if they go down again next season. They won't go down again. Go down next season. And if they do go down next season, all people are going to say is, "Oh, well, they were flirting with it for the last 2 years, and then it finally happened." They've got to change right from the top. Changes have got to be made, not just the players, but at the top as well. I'm against all of these sporting directors. I think that the manager is a manager and not a coach, and it should be the manager that chooses the players. And Mickey van der Ven is correct. It is embarrassing. And celebrating like you've won the FA Cup when all you've actually done is just struggled by the barest margin to stay up is a bit of a disgrace.
Adrian, thank you very much indeed for the call. I know exactly what Spurs fans mean, but I would have been celebrating if I was a Spurs fan yesterday. Because it's massive.
Spurs fans, 100% the relief, but the players, after Paulinho scored and they're jumping on him, and it's like, even before the game, I don't know, Jeff, like, it's baffled.
Look, as I mentioned, it'd be ruthless, and I'm looking at the Spurs squad, and I'm thinking Romero, Richarlison, Tell, Danso, Dragusin, Vicario, Bissouma, Paps, Sarr, Colomwani. I know he's only on loan. Maybe Bergvall, maybe Spence. I think they should scatter them. They've got to almost start again under De Zerbi.
I totally agree. Someone like Vicario, dear Lord, I would ban him from the training grounds, the entrance, change his pass so he can't get in. Like, you are not welcome. Some of these players are a disgrace. 2 seasons in a row. And the way they're celebrating yesterday should be going around the ground saying, sorry, we put you through hell this season. You've been a laughing stock of the Premier League. Celebrating. They're probably only celebrating because the money don't go down. That's probably why they're celebrating. Oh, 100 grand a week doesn't go down to 50. That's why they're celebrating, most of them.
You're cynic, you. Olivia is back with us. Hi again, Olivia.
Hello, and we are going to We're going to go back to the other end of the table. We're going to forget Spurs at the bottom, because it was a day to remember for Bournemouth, for Sunderland, and for Brighton. Let's start with Bournemouth and Sunderland. For Bournemouth, a club that are so well run that when they lose their players, they replace them with hidden gems. Every year their manager gets taken and they do a brilliant job. Iraola's done an absolutely sensational job. They finished 6th, and had results actually have gone their way, they might have got Champions League football. But
maybe if Pep had played Haaland and played Doku and played, he played a sentimental 11, and I understood it, but was that a bit disrespectful?
They needed Liverpool to lose, though, didn't they?
They needed Liverpool to win as well.
Liverpool to win, sorry.
But then, Slot playing Salah. Would he have played Salah if they'd have needed to win? Because actually he hasn't been playing him in the past. But anyway, still an unbelievable achievement. They're going to be playing Europa League football.
Yeah, and Bournemouth, I love that football club as well. Close to some of my family members, my partner especially from Bournemouth. But it's such a good football club. I've been to a couple of their games this season.
Yeah.
And it's a family football club. Not a massive fan base, but the club have built a massive training ground. Lovely one of the best in the Premier League. They're doing works to the stadium as well. And it's just been a fantastic season. Unbeaten in 18 games.
Ridiculous.
Like, that squad of players, after losing Howson, losing Kirkes halfway through the season, Semenyu's gone. They've been fantastic, and the recruitment at Bournemouth has been something else.
And that's without being, a party pooper. That's their issue again. They're going to lose Senesi. We know he's going. They need
Rayan. Can you keep hold of Rayan as well?
Well, I think he's just arrived and he's very much an unfinished product. But Krupi, on the other hand, he'll have suitors as well. So that was fantastic. Can I just say, when we're talking about sides who made Europe, I want to mention one who didn't, which was Brentford. A fantastic season. And if Ouattara had scored when he should have done in the 99th minute at Anfield, then Liverpool would have lost at home and Brentford would have been in the Europa League. And, I know Keith Andrews will have found that hard to bear, but I tell you what, he has been brilliant, and they have been brilliant too.
Yeah, I think he was one of the shouts for manager of the season, just because everyone, it was his first season as a manager, and everyone thought they were going to go down. Equally as well, everyone thought Sunderland would struggle in the Premier League, and the job that Regis Labrie has done, and the summer they had, they just bought. It felt like they bought in the right players, and we all made judgments at the start of the season, and I put my hands up. I was one of them. I was completely wrong. Does he have a shout for manager of the season, Gabby?
He should do, because yes, they spent, I think, over 130 million, but they spent wisely. And to finish above Newcastle, you're playing European football rather than Newcastle. No one would have said that at the start of the season. Now they've got to invest again. They've got to get the right squad of players, because playing 2 games a week, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Many teams have done it and struggled in the Premier League, but if you're a Sunderland fan, you are so excited for next season.
European tour.
I know. When are the games announced? Where are we going? What cities are we going? I mean, I was lucky last season to go to a lot of the Villa games, Champions League games, and the fans. It's the best thing
They're
possible.
a proper set of fans as well, Sunderland, aren't they? They're going to have an unbelievable time.
Paul is a Sunderland fan, a very happy Sunderland fan. He's texted us. He said, "What a day for my club yesterday. They said we'd be relegated by Christmas. They said we'd go down with the least points ever. European football." Took points off most of the big six and a double over our bitter rivals. Hope the Newcastle fans enjoyed the tube ride home from Fulham yesterday, hearing "Mind the Gap" at every stop. What a season, what a club. And the missus has said I can go on the European tour. Away the lads. Hey, Paul, brilliant. Thank you, mate. Yeah. They did, by the way. One of the things about them is They did the double over Chelsea, double over Newcastle, importantly, but they took points off all the big boys. Yeah. Arsenal, City, Man United, Villa, Liverpool, they got points off all of them. Yeah. Who could have imagined
Turned into a fortress, didn't they, Stadium of Light?
Yeah, they've been absolutely brilliant. Do you think, obviously, when you look at English teams in Europe, and starting from, West Ham winning the Conference League, Chelsea winning the Conference League, Villa winning the Europa League, Palace could potentially win the Conference League on Wednesday. Do you feel like, Jeff, with these teams in Europe now, with Brighton especially, I think, in the Conference League, that England can go on and dominate these European competitions?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably. We've done it this season, and there's no real reason why we shouldn't do it next season. I would have had the little rider in terms of the Europa League in particular. Yeah. That, as Gabby said, Sunderland are going to need to strengthen to compete on 2 fronts, and Bournemouth likewise with a much smaller squad and a new manager. As well. So we shall see. Brighton, I would certainly think they'll be favourites to win the conference.
They've got to win it.
They'll be favourites.
As well, Bournemouth and Sunderland, the priority next season is staying in the Premier League, stay up. It's not, as much as it's amazing to play in Europe for the fans, for the football club, it's not big financially, winning Europa League or playing in it. Champions League's where the money at. Yeah. And a team like Sunderland, reinvest, stay in the Premier League again, especially Bournemouth as well. So,
yeah.
Look, they're going to have a lovely summer, aren't they? All of their fans dreaming of that European tour. So enjoy it. Paul, make sure you get your passport updated.
If you was clever though, Jeff, you'd make sure we have a nice summer with the family, the kids and the missus.
Do everything.
Do everything. Where's going to go? No problem. No, extra shifts, no problem. When the season starts, I'm out.
Gabby. A lot of the missuses will be wanting to go on the European tour. Believe you me. They will.
Babysitters galore.
Olivia, thank you very much indeed. Charlie from Dagenham, just a word about West Ham. He said, we've been a disgrace considering where we were 3 years ago. We used to be the Academy of Football. Now we buy washed-out players and overpay for it. Look at Ward-Prowse, Ings, Traore. Compare it to the Harry Redknapp years. Great academy on way less resources than we have now. Think of the names. Defoe, Lampard, Ferdinand, Cole, Noble. We need to get that mentality back. Build our own. Make them big sells later on. Declan Rice is the only one we've had like that since David Sullivan took over and sold us a lie. That's Charlie in Dagenham. Thanks, Charlie. Coming up, we'll turn our attention back to West Ham. What's gone so badly wrong at that club? Well, you've just heard from Charlie. What changes will we see during the summer? 0371722 3344 is the number to have your say.
it, with Villa, right, Unai Emery is the man. He is, like, he has full control over everything. Transfers, youth club, there's no one telling him what to do. And, like, there's been rumours about him going to Madrid. Can you imagine him going to Madrid, mate? Like, if he's going to bench Mbappe to play someone else, mate, he'd get ousted straight away, wouldn't he?
Yeah, no,
do you know what I mean?
It's the perfect fit. It's the perfect club. It's the perfect.
I know, but you're still Aston Villa, though.
What do you mean, Cundy?
Well, you mentioned Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Who's the bigger team?
What do you mean?
Cundy, come on, mate.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. Are you sorry? Have you taken stupid pills?
I don't know what. I don't know.
Sorry. Sorry.
Were you trying to say Aston Villa bigger than Real Madrid?
No, of course not, mate. Of course not.
What are you trying to say, Jeff? I don't know what you're saying. Explain yourself.
No, hold on. He's saying he wouldn't go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, because he's not.
Sorry, unless I've got you wrong, Dave.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
It's Real Madrid. What's wrong with you lot? Are you joking me?
Cundy, mate. Are you joking? Listen to me, right? Hang on, Cundy.
David. Listen to me. Are you saying to me he'd turn down Real Madrid?
As a manager? Right. So
no, man. What do you think I'm talking about?
Cundy, listen to me, right? He could go to Madrid, right? And
Dave, think about what you're going to say before you say it, okay?
Cundy, mate,
you're trying to think about it, okay?
You are.
He's annoying me.
Take it away.
Dave, he's annoying me.
Yeah, man, your canister is way bigger than your brain, mate. I swear down.
Say it then, Dave. Say it. So here's the situation. I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want the job? Unai, do you want the job?
It's career suicide, Cundy. It's career suicide. If you went to Real Madrid, right, you have 6 months, he'd oust Mbappe, he'd get ousted by the fans, and then he'd be done. Right? At Villa, I'll tell you what, he could play bloody Tyrone Mings at striker, and I'd still trust the process. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying he's going to say no to Real Madrid?
Yes. Cundy, give Red a ball, mate. You're Chelsea. Where are you? 9th?
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. You'll get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. So what a final day of the Premier League it was right here on talkSPORT.
Champions and
he's heading against the post, goes back to Polina, it's cleared off the line, but did it go in? It did, and Tottenham lead at the top of Hotspur Stadium.
Now Liverpool players are forming a guard of honour for Mo Salah either side of the halfway line. The end of a glorious, glorious career for the Egyptian king.
West Ham 3, Leeds 0, Callum Wilson. That is a brilliant finish.
Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1, and for the first time ever via league position, European football will come to Sunderland.
Finished here, Brighton 0, Manchester United 3, but Brighton qualify for the Conference League next season. But it was Manchester United with a comfortable victory in which Bruno Fernandes got a record-breaking 21st assist.
Bournemouth 6, their best ever season. It wasn't quite Champions League, but Iriola signs off with the Cherries in the Europa League.
The atmosphere desperate for the whistle, which comes and brings relief to Tottenham Hotspur, and that has secured safety in the Premier League. Fortune, when it comes to West Ham, is always hiding. This afternoon, their dreams of staying in the Premier League have faded and died.
Martin Odegaard steps towards his teammates, throws back his head and lifts the trophy aloft.
Contrasting emotions. Arsenal fans joyous. There were plenty of them when I was arriving in London last night. Hordes of them on the tubes, all celebrating after that win at Crystal Palace. And, of course, the trophy lift as well, as far as West Ham fans were concerned. They were keeping a bit of a lower profile after their relegation from the Premier League. Where do they go from here? Will Nuno be there next season? He was asked yesterday about his future following their relegation.
No, it's not. No, it's not about that. It's about realizing that now is not the moment to do that. Your state of mind is not the right one. We are sad, we are frustrated, and just things will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, West Ham fans already, Gabby, speculating about the next man through the door. And goodness me, there have been plenty lately, haven't there? It's Jason, who's a West Ham fan, says, bringing Craig Bellamy as manager, ex-player, he'll bring the energy. If not, Scotty Parker knows how to get out of that league.
Yeah, Nuno will be gone, especially if the reports about what's happened in the changing rooms, maybe some of the coaching staff as well. The board will know about that, and they probably didn't sack him because he was getting a few results, Jeff. So if he kept us up, maybe it's a different conversation. But now that he didn't complete the job he was brought in for, 100% he'll be gone. But they've got to make the right appointment, because Scott Parker's one that, yes, he's record to get you out of the league, but then you'd have to change him again if you get promoted, because he's not done it in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's the issue. He gets teams to the Premier League. It's whether he can keep them there. Craig Bellamy, what do you think?
Yeah, it could be worth a try, but does he want to stay with Wales, though? That's the problem. Has he got unfinished business with Wales? But I'll tell you, one fan base that will be happy will be Millwall. There'll be 2 spicy games next season, and Millwall are a decent side.
Yeah.
So if West Ham don't get rid of the right players and bring in the right players, it could get worse next season.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of West Ham fans, well, maybe not West Ham fans, but a lot of football fans will expect West Ham to bounce straight back. But will they? Let's get more on this and speak to host and co-founder of West Ham Fan TV, Nicky Hawkins. Morning, Nicky.
Morning, Nicky.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby.
Morning,
what is the feeling amongst West? I know it's early and things are still raw, Nicky, but will most West Ham fans expect that they would bounce straight back?
We're not sure, to be honest. It's a bit uncertain. We've been in this position before, certainly, but we've never been in this stadium, and we've never had such an exodus of fans. So we're all a bit uncertain as what the future holds. It's a bit of a frightening time for the football club, because the last 10 years have not gone to plan, and this is the worst of it, and we just don't know what to expect now. We don't know what's coming.
I think as well, Nicky, you look at Leicester City, relegated from the Premier League. How many players thought they were going to get moves and didn't? the club didn't get the offers that they maybe wanted. So you look at Bowen, Fernandez, Somerville, maybe the players that might get that move. But a lot of these players, all the best, they'll be playing Championship football next season.
Well, I think there's going to be quite a few moved on because we need the money. I think, you know, even if they have to cut the prices, you know, there's going to be, I think, a mass exodus this summer. But, you know, it's going to be one of them ones. I was one who believed that relegation could be more beneficial this year because in the position we are financially, although it would be extra money, it's easier trying to rebuild a squad for to get out of the Championship than to stay in the Premier League. We've all seen what Wolves have done. We've all seen what Burnley have done when you have to sell like your best players. So, yeah, it's just one of them times that's really uncertain for the club at the minute. We really don't know what to expect going into this stadium. You know, will it be filled up? We're going to lose a lot of our fan base. A lot of people have already walked away. And, you know, there's no certainty at the minute about bouncing straight back. And if we do go down again, and there's a few people that think we will see League One before we see the Premier League again, I don't know what to expect.
Whoa. That is very pessimistic. League One before you see the Premiership again. Who's to blame for it all then, Nicky? I mean, is it Nuno? Is it Graham Potter? Is it David Sullivan? Is it whoever does the recruitment at the football club?
I think it's got to be, you know, placed on the owners because they, you know, at the end of the day, they're the ones that make the decisions and they're the ones that make the appointments. And when you see what's happened after David Moyes, after that European trophy, you know, we've just gone backwards, and everything that they've done has been overpaying for, you know, bog standard players and getting in bog standard managers. And they're always reliant on three teams being worse. And I think they've come unstuck this season because Sunderland have come up and got off to a flyer. So, you know, I think it's been a long time coming. And if you speak to a lot of West Ham fans, you know about the protests and stuff, you know, they've been telling you this is coming for a long time. And, you know, we've seen it coming from afar.
I think as well, you look at some of the players West Ham have brought in. I mean, 20 million on Fulkrug, 40 million on Kilman, 40 million, 35 million on Tadibo, 30 million on Ward-Prowse. But to Tadibo, I'm hearing that he kicked off after the Newcastle game when he got brought off. But that was a tactical change, changing 3 centre-halves to 2 centre-halves. Wasn't available yesterday for the last game of the season. He seems like a bad egg to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first reports of him, you know, being a bit upset, but I can understand the frustrations because he's been, you know, before he got sent off at Chelsea, he was one of our better players. And then we signed Disasi, and then he's just sort of found himself on the sideline. Very highly rated player when we signed him. But, you know, that's down to Nuno. You know, every time we've played 5 at the back, we've lost. Yes. You know, and he tried that against Newcastle when we needed to win the game. Exactly. And after 20 minutes, he's having to sacrifice the player. So I understand his frustrations. He's been training a week. You know, he's been, you know, told that he's going to be playing. He's been told that he's going to be starting finally to get his chance. And then after 20 minutes, it's just everything's just up in the air again. It's just everything's just poor.
It's been a mess. Yeah. It's been a mess, Nicky. Look, Nicky, thank you very much indeed. Hopefully next season will be better for you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Let's speak to our West Ham fan. Jason's called us. Morning, Jason.
Morning, Jason.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Probably better than you, mate.
Yeah, well, look, this has been on the cards since January. We kept clawing back, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, with the squad they've got, should have Spurs been anywhere near that area? No, they shouldn't. They're, you know, much better club than that, aren't they? I'm being honest as a West Ham fan here. This has been on the cards for us for a couple of seasons. I just want to point out, when Nuno did come in, it lifted us all, but some of the tactics have been really poor. Maybe that would work with sort of like a European style sort of team. Yeah. You know, when he had the old Wolves squad with the type of players he's had. At Forest, he had players like Chris Wood that can hold the ball up. We haven't got that at West Ham. You know, we've gone down. The Millwall game absolutely excites me because that is our big game. Of course, I don't want to be in the Championship, but that keeps me a little bit alive. And no VAR. And I know you guys in the studio this season have been really, I mean, especially the other week against the Arsenal game, you really did stick up for West Ham in that, you know, regarding, and both of you really, went to town on VAR, and I appreciate that. But we can sit back this season and watch VAR unfold, you know, the season coming. And for me, he's not everyone's cup of tea, and everyone's sort of, not sure. I would go Scott Parker. The only reason, I think we just need to have someone in there, ex-player, bit of energy. He's not my first choice, but I just think we need someone who knows the club, ex-captain, come back, work with a few academy lads, you know, been around the game recently. Someone who's got, I think he's got the all-time points record of getting, you know, a team out of that league as well.
Also, top 8 is playoffs now.
Jason,
another bonus.
Thank you, mate. Seeing the positives. I want to squeeze one more in quickly. Terry's another West Ham fan.
Morning, Terry.
Morning, Terry.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm a West Ham fan this season. And the first thing I want to say is some of the responsibility has to go onto the fans. I have seen the most unbelievable behaviour over there over the last 8-10 years. And David Moyes was hounded out through a very minority fans. And I said at the time, renewing it.
Terry, it's not a great line. I'm really sorry, mate. We're going to have to lose you. We get the message that the fans share the responsibility. Look, John has texted. He said, I'm still crying, lads. What a day. A year to the day we got promoted from the Championship. Now Europe. Regis for manager of the season. Xhaka unreal. Lefay unplayable. Espanyol to Amsterdam. I'll be skint, but I'll still gan. All I know is Sunderland's on the way. We're on our way to Europe. Brilliant, John. And coming up, we'll bring you more on Sunderland's celebrations with a legend that is Kevin Ball. And we've also got some good news for talkSPORT fans. Stay tuned.
What was your overriding emotion last night, watching it all unfold and feeling as you do for this great club?
I think for me, it's Aston Villa a sleeping giant. You know, European Cup winners in 1982. All you ever heard was, you wasn't born. You wasn't born when Villa won that. They've only won, last trophy was 30 years ago. So it was that pressure, sort of that monkey off the back for Aston Villa fans and the players and the football club. But emotion as well, Jim, because I spoke to so many Villa fans, parents that have passed away, you know, family members that have passed away, and what this would have meant to those people that aren't here today. And people are going through a lot. You know, everyone's going through a lot, football fans. What last night can do to give people a boost, what they're going through in their life. It was amazing to see my people, my fellow Brummies, so happy.
Brilliant. Your people. You're right, your people. In terms of legendary status, Gabby, where is this group now?
Oh, they're legends. And I say this all the time, Jim, I don't like to be called a legend. I feel legends of a football club need to win something. I really do. The 1982 players, they're legends of the football club. Now, these group of players are, and the one player, I don't like to pick one, but the one player that stands out for me is our captain. Scotland are lucky to have him, John McGinn. Immense, and I was so happy for him, what he's been through for this football club. The small price that Aston Villa paid for him, was it 2.5 million? What a player, what a nice guy, and what a captain.
Gabby, can I ask you personally, did you watch with regret last night that you never quite experienced a night like that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we got to the Carabao Cup final, we got to the FA Cup final and lost, but to get to a European final and get it over the line, the pressure that was on the players, because they were highly favourites in the game as well, to win against Freiburg, it wasn't like a jealous feeling. It was like, wow, I missed out. Wow, what a
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. 20 minutes past 7. Very quick text. Roger says, Norwich fan here, watching on YouTube in Florida. Morning to you, Roger. Talk of Europe for Sunderland, giving me memories of 1993-94 and Norwich beating Bayern Munich. Yeah, great days those, weren't they? And what Sunderland would dream of. Big win against a big European side. You know, maybe Milan. Who knows?
Exactly, yes.
Right, it is time now for this.
Bring it home on talkSPORT with Sky Glass, the TV designed for football. Find out more at sky.com/glass.
And now, all this week, we're going to give away the ultimate Superfan TV package thanks to Sky Glass. So, we've randomly selected 2 contestants today. Let's say good morning to them. Simon, good morning to you.
Morning.
Simon, who do you support?
I'm Stoke fan.
Stoke fan. Right, let's find out who you're up against. Tom is your rival. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Tom, who do you support?
I'm a Sheffield United fan.
Oh, OK, right. Well, Sheffield United did the double over Stoke this season. So pressure on you, Simon, to regain some self-respect for Stoke, OK? Right, this is how it works. You've got 30 seconds each to answer as many World Cup questions as you can. You're allowed to pass if you don't know the answer. We can only accept your first answer. Top scorer wins the Sky Glass TV and a year-long Sky subscription package. So, look, I'll tell you what, these are tough questions. Simon, you're going to be going first. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Simon, your 30 seconds starts now. Which nation holds the record for the most consecutive failed World Cup qualification attempts with 22?
Pass.
Okay, which nation became the first from the African continent to ever play at a World Cup in 1934? No, it was Egypt. Which country is the only team to go through an entire World Cup campaign without conceding a single goal in 2006?
Brazil.
No, it's Switzerland. Prior to Kylian Mbappe in 2022, who was the only player to score a hat-trick at a World Cup final, and time is up. So, sorry about that part. Look, I told you they were tough.
They were hard.
Hey, Simon, we have got something in common, because I got nil as well. So, and Tom, you can have a laugh now, but I'll tell you what, yours are just as hard, mate.
They were
so,
tough.
Tom, they were tough.
They were tough. Yeah.
Are you ready, Tom?
I am ready.
Okay, time starts now. At 42 years old, which Cameroonian legend became the oldest goal scorer in World Cup history in 1994?
Pass. I know about pass.
Okay, who was the captain? It's Roger Miller. Who was the captain of the France team that won the 1998 World Cup on home soil?
Deschamps.
Correct. Including extra time, how many goals were scored in total during the 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France, excluding the shootout?
4?
No, 6. It was 3-3.
Yeah. Well,
and your time is up, but Didier Deschamps has done the business for you, Tom. Congratulations, mate, because you win that fantastic package. Look, many commiserations, Simon. Those questions were blooming tough, I'll tell you that. Tom, you've won yourself a Sky Glass TV and a year-long Sky subscription. So well done to you, mate. You're looking for great things for Sheffield United next season?
Hopefully so. Hopefully Wilder does the job for us again.
Yeah, he's a top lad, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well done, Tom. Enjoy that TV and the year-long subscription. We will play again tomorrow, all thanks to Sky Glass, the TV designed for football. Find out more at sky.com/glass.
Bring it home on talkSPORT with Sky Glass, the TV designed for football. Find out more at sky.com/glass.
Tomorrow's contestants who are listening to that, they're thinking we won't answer the phone when it rings in the morning because they were tough. You got any of that first?
0. Maybe the Muller one.
Yeah, Roger Miller, yeah. I might have got Roger Miller. I might have got Didier Deschamps, but I wouldn't have got any of Simon's.
Very hard.
None.
Very hard, mate.
Now Manchester United back into the Champions League in style, aren't they, under Michael Carrick? Brilliant 3-0 win. Brighton. Bruno Fernandes was absolutely fantastic during the course of that game as well. Unsurprisingly, Michael Carrick was full of praise for his captain.
He's got a natural eye and a natural gift for creation and product, really, whether that's scoring, whether that's creating, and different ways, both feet. From open play, from set players, I think he can play so many different things, different types of passes. I think he's just a real threat, and we're trying to put him in certain positions that we think will play to his strengths, and credit to the other boys as well, because they've had to finish the chances off that he's created. So it's a good sign all round.
21 assists this season. There was a bit of controversy about the one at Brighton, about whether it should have gone down as a Vertonghen own goal, in which case he wouldn't have got the assist by Lockie. I mean, it's all irrelevant in many respects.
Yes.
I think the one thing that's not irrelevant is how good he's been this season.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. It's just, I don't know. I probably would have chose Declan Rice just for his whole season all around, winning the Premier League as well, but Bruno Fernandes is a special player. If Manchester United are going to battle for the title next season, he's going to be a big part of it.
Do you think that Manchester United are potentially the biggest threat to Arsenal next season?
I think they are. I said it's Crookie on Friday. I says, do not be surprised if Manchester United finish above Manchester City. I just think they've got a settled squad. He's got money to spend. We know Manchester United can spend season after season. If they get the right players in, 2 midfielders, maybe another striker, another defender as well, I don't see any reason why not. Because like you said earlier, Maresca, we don't know what's going to happen that first season, Jeff. The big shoes to fill. Haaland, all he's been used to is Pep. All these players that are still there, Rodri, who's not been the same player, they're used to the Pep Guardiola way. Maresca will have his own methods, and it might not be enough for Manchester City to be up there next season. So I think Manchester United, get the right players in the summer, they're definitely going to be a big threat next season.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had a brilliant season, and Michael Carrick, that was the right decision to stick with Carrick.
Yes. The main reason for me, Jeff, is if they give it someone else and it didn't work, then you're just setting yourself up, aren't you? Michael Carrick done fantastic in the half the season he's had. He deserves it. I'm sure there's loads of clauses in there, Jeff, that if it doesn't work out, they can, sack Michael Carrick. Say they don't get Champions League football next season, they can get rid of him. So he deserves a job for sure.
Yeah, Jake's texting United the biggest threat. They've literally played one game a week. I know, Jake. I know, but they can't. That's what was put in front of them.
Exactly.
And they finished in third place in the table. They've had a brilliant run under Michael Carrick. One game a week or not, mate. And they may find it more difficult next season playing Champions League as well. Well, they will find it more difficult.
I'm sure they'll invest, Jeff, as well, won't they? So they're going to have a bigger squad, more quality.
Certain they're going to invest more quality. And one or two players who might actually kick on even more next season.
Diallo, Konya, Mbumo, Shesko, another experience. Yeah.
And I look at Mason Mount, who's barely played this season, but he's a fine player.
Agreed, yep.
Coming up, it's all about Sunderland and their European tour, and we'll also be focusing on Arsenal and whether they could build a dynasty under Mikel Arteta.
It is a sensational story and so many strands to it. And I've seen a lot of Southampton fans who've come out in condemnation of the club. They say this is the darkest day in their long history. And I think a lot of Southampton fans are quite embarrassed at the way in which their name has been dragged through the mud. As you say, the punishment is immediate expulsion from that playoff final on Saturday, the £200 million game. So they have been stolen of the right to possibly get back into the Premier League the first time of asking, and a 4-point deduction for the start of next season. That's because, as I understand it, the EFL argued that the playoffs needed to be treated as a separate cup competition. Obviously, Southampton admitted spying on Middlesbrough, so that's where that punishment comes from. They also admitted over the course of this hearing with the Independent Commission spying on at least 2 other Championship teams, which is why there's also a points penalty for next season. Southampton appealed it immediately, not because they feel they're innocent, but because they feel the punishment doesn't really befit the crime. One of the things I was told coming out of St Mary's is they feel this is unprecedented. It is, because there isn't a precedent. I know that Marcelo Bielsa escaped with a fine, but it was only after that incident ahead of the Leeds final playoff with Derby that it was put in the rule book. So this is uncharted territory. Southampton have told staff in an email that I've seen from the Chief Executive, Phil Parsons, their legal team are confident they've got a strong case. They're going to keep preparing for this game on Saturday. I don't think it's going to be overturned in terms of Southampton being allowed to play this final. What could happen is a sort of halfway house where the points deduction gets rescinded. But I think there's enough evidence that Southampton will not take their place at Wembley. We're hearing stories of analysts dressing as staff wearing the kits of non-league Eastleigh when Ipswich were using their training ground in order to spy. So this is quite sinister in many ways. This is not just some bloke who's turned up at the Middlesbrough training ground and filmed a few minutes of training. So I think they're banged to rights. I think they've shown very little contrition. I think it's poor that we haven't had a statement from Southampton in the aftermath of this punishment. We still haven't heard officially from the club.
Yeah,
we're a long way down the line now. Surely they should have had something prepared.
The German leading England. It all sounds a little bit odd, but as Thomas Tuchel tries to bring football home, here's how he ended up in one of the most scrutinised jobs in sport. Well, Tuchel started his footballing journey in the sleepy town of Krimbach. His leadership skills were obvious from an early age, with Tuchel even making subs during PE volleyball sessions. After a knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart U setup in 2000. He led the club's under-19s to their league title 5 years later, but his perceived abrasive personality meant Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract. He went on to spend 5 years at the helm at Mainz before leaving the club for Dortmund. And there, Tuchel secured his first major trophy, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more pieces of silverware came next for Tuchel in just 5 seasons at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. And that CV impressed the top brass at the FA.
We found so many similarities and so many things that suited my approach and my hunger to achieve special things. I always wanted to come back to England.
Well, he says all the right things, but is destiny on Tuchel's side?
Smile on my face when I hear this.
Great tune.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Buy a used car, get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. You know why we're playing this, of course. Sunderland, League One 4 years ago. Next season in Europe for the first time in 53 years. On the final word phone in, Natalie Sawyer and Alan Pardew were joined by Sean, the Sunderland fan. He was in no doubt that Regis Labrie should be manager of the season.
Unbelievable. As you say, when he came in last season, he was unheard of. Everybody was saying Reggie who.
Yeah.
Now, give him a statue like Bob Stokewell. For what he's done, he's took us to the Europa League. And me personally, he's nominated for manager of the season. I think he's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
To get a newly promoted side into 7th in the Europa League in your first season, 54 points. It's unheard of, especially after the last 2 seasons where the 3 promoted sides have been relegated the following season.
Yeah, people forget about that, Sean. That's quite right. This is the first year for a while. And Leeds as well have had a great season.
Leeds, yes. And that's how West Ham and Spurs have been where they have. Of course, Leeds and Sunderland have brought them all this season. That's why one of the so-called established clubs have ended up being relegated.
Let's get more on this now from Sunderland legend Kevin Ball. Morning, Kev.
Morning, Kev.
Morning, Gabby. Morning, Jeff. You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. You got your passport dusted off?
Dusted off, ready and waiting, mate. Dusted off, ready and waiting.
Fantastic. Hey, look, hand on heart, at the start of this season, what would you have taken?
It's interesting you asked me that question. One of the things that I'd thought about a while back when we were in League One or the Championship, would I ever see Premier League football again in my lifetime, to be honest with you? And then at the start of this season, you probably sort of said to yourselves, right, as long as we stay up, as long as we acquit ourselves okay, we'll be happy with that. But to end up in Europe after all that, I think is an absolutely unbelievable achievement.
Kev, I remember watching the Sunderland documentary when it was on Netflix a few years back when they were in League One and thinking, wow, it's absolute carnage, this football club. I feel sorry for the fans especially. So how much do the owners, manager and players, how much credit do they have to take? Because the fans must be so excited. European football is unbelievable.
The weird thing about it, even since the League One days, all the managers, players, staff over the course of time till now played a part in it. And I think that was said very well on the pitch yesterday, that both the manager and the captain thanked everybody. And it was nice to hear how inclusive it was in that, in terms of fans, staff, players, everybody. And you go back, someone said to me after the game, they said, I can remember 4 years ago, I was at Accrington Stanley. It was, he didn't say raining hard, he said other words. And he said, and then it got called off in the 17 minutes. We're now in Europe, he went like that. The buzz around the place yesterday was the best I've ever seen it.
Look, I mean, they weren't shy in investing before the start of this season, Kevin. I'm guessing that there's going to have to be further investment to help you cope with European nights in addition to the Premier League.
I would have suggested that is, and the fact that who they brought in so far, you've got to give them a massive pat on the back. Some of the players they've brought in have been outstanding. I would like to think that the preparations are well underway for recruiting more players for next year. I know they're going to be big on it. And again, it would be nice to see another season like we've had this year and the investment and that, because I think it's what the club and the fans deserve. You know, we've definitely had some ups and downs in the time I've been at the club, some great times and some sad times. It just would be nice now if we had a consistent football club that in some respects was challenging in the higher echelons of the Premier League for years to come.
Yeah, you're right. Consistency is what you need, isn't it? And the only fear that maybe some people might have is European football, 2 games a week, not used to it. But if you invest right in the summer, you've got every chance of being okay. But there's one player that stood out for me, maybe because I was an ex-striker as well, but Robbie. I mean, he got 7 goals, didn't he, in the Premier League, but what a beast he is, and he can get better and better, can't he?
I was going to say, I'm not sure I'd like to mark him, that's
No
for sure.
way.
He liked it. I would have enjoyed it, take it from me. He leads the line so well, and he has great passion as well, and he wants to win every duel he makes. He wants to bring other players into the game and that with his touch and everything like that. But he is a great man to lead the line, a great man. And even the game, and I was at the awards evening the other night, I loved his attitude. He was very confident, and you've seen that over the course of the season. He's been very confident. Leading the line sometimes on your own is very difficult, but I think he's done that with aplomb. And the goal he obviously scored through our neighbours will live with us forever.
Yeah, look, I mean, there have been some wonderful performances on the pitch, right from Robin Roofs at the back, you know, to Mukiele, Siddiqui, Enzo Lefebvre, obviously Granit Xhaka as well. But I mean, look, 7. It's been no fluke, has it, Kev? Because you look at the sides they've taken points off. They've taken points off Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Aston Villa, Liverpool, did the double over Chelsea, and from a Sunderland perspective, most importantly, did the double over their arch rivals Newcastle as well. So, you know, they've shown they're absolutely capable of doing more than surviving, flourishing at this level.
I think what's important to point out is the football's been good. Yeah, there have been 1 or 2 games where you've come away from, they're not quite at it today. But in the main, throughout the course of the season, the mantra of till the end has been shown unbelievably by this team. And it got pointed out on Match of the Day by one of the commentators, I won't name him, said about desire last night, and you need desire in teams. They've shown that all season, to win a game of football or to stay in a game of football and then to win a game of football. from our perspective and our club and our ethics, that's what we need to see. We need to see players that are obviously good footballers, but also fight to the end, fight tooth and nail for everything. And I've obviously watched a lot of the players this year. And as you rightly said, the different players that have contributed to the team's success. And you look at Mukiele yesterday, the man was magnificent. And I just love the passion he exudes and the way he does it. He gets a crowd going. He's so competitive, but he's also an excellent player. That's what we want to see.
I remember Kev playing against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and the crowd wasn't in line with the players, the manager, and maybe the owners. And it was a toxic atmosphere, and we played on that. I remember scoring 2 goals, and we beat them on that day. But how nice is it now where everyone's aligned in the football club? The players are lifting the fans on game day, and the Stadium of Light now is a fortress. Teams do not like going there.
You know, you hit the nail on the head. That has happened over the course of time, as it does at a lot of football clubs. But this year, or in recent years, you've seen it get better and better. The fans, the club, the team are all aligned together. They all have one aim, and that is to be successful. And yesterday, it was quite ironic because I've experienced good things on the pitch as a player, a coach, and bad things as well. But it was quite weird yesterday that I'm in the stand with my grandson watching the game. Obviously, I was working yesterday as an ambassador, but also as a supporter. And when it came up on the board that European football was achieved, I think I got a little bit emotional. Yeah. The grandson looked up at me and he went, "You crying, Granddad?" I went, "No, son, it was that flare. You know, it's got a bit of smoke in Granddad's eye." You know what I mean? And it was brilliant. It was the most surreal moment.
Yep.
The football club for a long, long time, thinking of everything the fans and the club have been through and the people that have worked for the club have been through. European football, like I say, the first time for over 50 years.
No.
And yeah, it might be tough and we might find it hard. And those weeks where they have got 2 games, that's down to the staff and the players to manage it. And I know the staff on that side and they'll do it very, very well. So it'll be something we can do. And I'd like to point out, it was also said yesterday about, it was nice to see Trey Hume and Luke O'Nien in that team playing yesterday.
Yeah.
As they have done. And from my point of view as an ex-player, it was great to see as well.
Yeah, look, I was just going to mention Luke actually because for most of the season, bit part player. You thought he wasn't going to get a chance in the Premier League. Well, he's got his chance, and boy, has he taken it as well. And I'm so pleased with him.
Yesterday.
Yeah, look, 33 points at home. Can you imagine the Stadium Light European night? It's going to be rocking.
You know what else, Jeff?
Oh, so much.
It's really important that legends of football clubs go to all the games as well.
Yeah.
Away games, they get treated well. Yes.
Brilliant.
We're part of the history of the club, and
Exactly,
I think
Kevin.
they've got to be the foundations. And if other players that come to the club get the opportunity to speak to, I ended up standing yesterday talking to one of our young players that's been released about his next step forward as well. And I really enjoyed it because you could give him advice on what you felt he could do.
Yep.
All the best, and say to him, if you ever want to talk to me, you know where I am, give me a ring, like that. And I think that's good as well.
Definitely.
Kev, enjoy the summer.
Yes, top man, Kev.
Oh, I will.
Cheers, mate. Sunderland legend Kevin Ball there. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Arsenal lifted the Premier League trophy for the first time in 22 years yesterday, but their boss Mikel Arteta said it doesn't stop there.
I think we wear that shirt now in a different way. We are the champions, and that brings obviously a lot of joy, a different presence, more confidence, but as well a lot of responsibility, which is to now deliver much more now.
03717 223344. Arsenal fans, give us a call this morning with Pep Guardiola now out of the Premier League. Was yesterday the beginning of an Arsenal dynasty? We'll be discussing that at around 8:30 this morning, so stay tuned. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Just explain what the story
Well,
is.
basically, Romero's injured. He can't play. Now, Spurs obviously played the biggest game of the season on Sunday. River Plate are playing against his former team on the last day of the season as well. Both teams can win the league, all right? His former club, that one that he grew up with. I don't know I can't remember the name. Anyway, they kick off at 7 on Sunday. He's gone to Argentina to watch the game instead of Spurs against Everton. Now that for me, the club captain not there on the final day of the season. If that doesn't sum up Spurs right there, that is an absolute joke. Now, there might be an argument to say he's injured, he's gone out to Argentina to get treatment because of the World Cup.
I don't care.
No, I'm the same. The club captain has to be at the final game of the season. Why is the club captain not at the final day of the season? He's going to watch River Plate. That is outrageous. Outrageous. Yeah. That is a sackable offence. Yeah, and whoever's allowed that to happen, whether it's come from the top or Roberto De Zerbi, they should be ashamed of themselves. It sums up Tottenham in every aspect. That is allowed to happen. Like, if he don't want to be there, fine. No, you won't want to be there.
No, it's not fine.
No, it's not fine. That's not fine. But no, I get that. But in terms of he don't want to be at the club, he wants out, right? Get that. But his teammates will want Romero around the dressing room. His teammates, the people that he's played around, the people that he's played alongside, he's been in the trenches with, and he's decided to go and watch River Plate on the last day of the season. It's disgusting.
No, I am absolutely. When Ryan told me this, I looked at him and had to gaze in his eyes. I said, "What are you talking about?" I'm thinking, what game is that day? Can he get back from Argentina? Why is he doing that anyway? No, he's going to miss one.
Yeah, they kick off 7:30 on Sunday.
Mate, that is.
It's outrageous, mate. It's outrageous.
Maybe he knows what's happening. Maybe he knows you're going to play in Championship football, and he's thinking, do you know what, right? I know where we're going. I'd rather go and watch a decent...
That's not the point. That's not the point.
And Spurs.
That's not the point. You can't get away with that. You're a club captain. Club captain is not there on the final day of the season. That is...
It's disgusting.
It is so bad. So bad. Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Buy a used car, get a free 2-year service plan plus £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event. Today, Monday, May the 25th, a glorious sunny bank holiday. Monday, planning to get out and enjoy a bit of it later on. You, Gabs? Yeah, it's just nice though, Jeff. Like yesterday, right, I was sat watching the football with the door open. So I saw some warm air to come in. No, for a change. Yeah. Been the longest winter ever. Rain, clouds, cold. Even if you're not out in the sun, just have warm air coming in your house is lovely.
Yeah, May has been miserable, cold until now. We've got shorts out, both of us.
Yes, legs are out, mate.
Legs are out.
Yeah.
Right, some of the headlines this morning. Alan Pardew's back. Scotty Parker to take over West Ham should Nuno Espirito Santo depart in the wake of relegation. Emma Raducanu's been knocked out in the first round of the French Open. She's pretty upset, I think, as well. Lost 6-love, 7-6. And Bolton are back in the Championship after their 4-1 win over Stockport in the playoff final at Wembley yesterday. After the game, man of the match, Sam Dolby, came on as a substitute, scored a stunning overhead kick, explained why he decided to take the attempt on.
To be honest, my missus, every time someone scores a bicycle kick, she says, "Why can't you do that?" And I just say, well, it's just not my game, to be honest. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to try it today, and it actually worked. So, yeah, maybe I should listen to her more.
Look, I don't. Did you see? It was a brilliant goal from Sam Dolby yesterday. Overhead kick.
No, I didn't see it.
It made it 3-1. It was absolutely fantastic. When he came on, and he's their Bolton's Player of the Year, but he's left on the bench. Hasn't been too sharp recently. Apparently, came on absolutely brilliant from the moment he stepped on.
Yes. Great news for Bolton coming up.
Yeah, it really was, and they deserve to go through. A couple of quick thoughts on that, by the way, before we move on. Dacus Cogley, the Stockport fullback, sent off for a hair pull. You know what? I mean,
I did see that with the 3 sending offs. Stockport.
No, only one.
What? There was a game yesterday or over the weekend.
Yeah,
there were sending offs.
Yeah, I think that was.
No, was that Como?
That was in Italy, Como.
Sorry, Como game.
Yeah, but he set off for a hair pull. I felt for him, because I tell you what, he's reached out to try and pull the boy's shirt, and he can't see him. He's reached out to pull the shirt, and he's got his hair, and he let go straight away. But VAR was in operation.
If you're not looking.
I know.
I get it if you're looking, then you're no excuse. If you're not looking, you try and hold a shirt and you do it, that's not a red card.
But here,
come on.
Listen, I didn't think it was a red, but VAR was in operation in that game. Now, it's not in operation at all in League One. It's not in operation in the playoff semi-finals. Should it be in operation in the final?
Not if it's not in the semi-finals. It should not. Why bring it in? Yeah. It's either in for the whole of the playoffs. It's not in at all. And listen, some of the ones we saw this season, you can tell. Cucurella, there's been one. There's been other ones where you're like, you meant to do that, and you're thinking that the cameras can't see you, but it can happen on accident. Yeah, defenders always used to pull your shirt. I mean, like players now with long hair, it's going to happen. If you're not looking at the player and you're jumping, looking the other way, I don't think that should be a red card. I really don't.
And in terms of the game, it was irrelevant because the game was over by then. Yes. Bolton were 3-1 up, and there were just a handful of minutes to play. And well done to Stephen Schumacher because he's done an absolutely fantastic job there. And on the day, I'm sure even my mate Dave Challoner would probably admit that Bolton were the better side, and they deserved to win.
Yes.
And we'll be in the Championship next season. We'll be playing West Ham, of course. Right. Time now for our coffee break with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And just before we move on, I should mention that today it's the League Two playoff final as well. Salford against Notts County. So
who's favourites, would you say? Salford?
Touch and go. Salford finished a point above Notts County. Obviously, Notts County, one of the most famous old clubs in the country. Salford, one of the newest, who never played in League One. It's toss of
celebrity owners. They'll be hoping they get promoted.
Toss of a coin. Now look, talkSPORT host legend Alan Brazil.
Yes,
we want to talk about Big Al for a moment or two, because he's been reporting this weekend that he'll be back on the airwaves in a matter of weeks, following a life-saving operation. He gave us an update yesterday. Have a listen.
Hiya guys, how are you? What a day. Beautiful weekend. Hopefully you're lying in the sun enjoying yourself. Well, as you can see, I'm beginning to improve rapidly, which is great news. I was nearly gone. Don't mind telling you, but listen, it's a miracle now what's happened with these NHS. Brilliant. I can't thank the people at Cambridge enough. They've saved my life, basically. But I'm on the mend, you bet. I'm missing radio. I will be back. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. The last of the Premiership fixtures is going to be nail-biting. We got another beautiful day tomorrow in the sunshine here in Suffolk. But it won't be long now, a few weeks, Brazil is back. Thank you for all the messages. I really appreciate it. And I'm a lucky boy.
Hey, look, you know, honestly, everybody wants you back. Everybody is desperate for you to come back. Take your time, mate. Make sure you're
100%,
well.
yeah, make sure you're right. Yep.
He looks $1 million.
I know it's not Big Al anymore, is it? He's Little Al.
Little Al.
I'm going to change his name on my phone to Little Al. He looks in great shape and looks very healthy and nice bit of a suntan as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And the great thing about Al is there's only one Al in Brazil. He is irreplaceable because he's a complete one-off.
Yes, and he's just that sort of character as well, Jeff, that like everybody loves, you know. And I'm sure we'll be looking forward to getting back Ipswich back in the Premier League, and hopefully Scotland can get out of their tough game against Haiti, is it?
Mm-hmm.
No, but we're looking to be back, and obviously big for the channel, legend.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Hey, Al, we've had, I mean, that was a message to the listeners. We've had so many messages from listeners about you, saying just how much they're missing you. So if you're listening, Al,
looks fantastic.
Great to see you, looking good, and we'll see you very, very soon. Well, I won't actually, because whenever Al's working, I never am. But hey, and that was all thanks to Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
Jason says, will somebody please tell Gabby there have been plenty of players of the season winners in the past that haven't won the league. Rooney, Henry, Vieira, just to name a few. Give Bruno Fernandes his flowers, as he well deserves them. Did you say that? I'm not sure you did you?
I think a very good player, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, but I just want to give it maybe Declan Rice. But listen, if assists are the things that matters more than goals, then he deserves it.
Yeah. It's funny how assists, when you were playing, I didn't think assists were really a thing, weren't
Jeff, you didn't mention them.
Yeah.
I would have finished the season and say, I got 10 goals, but 7 assists, buzzing. Okay, I get the ball, Jeff. I pass it to you. You take 10 players on score, I get the assist. I think that's the problem with I get with assist, that not all of them are deserved assist, if that makes sense. I mean, a cynic here, but players never looked at them. It was never something that even managers looked at. No. Oh, he's got 10 assists, I'm going to go and sign him. No, what they'll look at exactly what goals you created. Were you very good at crossing? Were you very good at passing in behind for players? Those sort of assists I get. But now they'll pick someone on stats, won't they? Oh, he's got 15 assists, but they're all one little slight pass to someone, and they've went to score the screamer.
Yeah, and of course, if you take corners and you're on the set plays, you've got a heck of a chance. Look, I'm a big Bruno Fernandes fan. I think he's been absolutely sensational. This
looks easy for him, doesn't it?
United.
Looks very easy at times when he sees the ball and his passing's amazing. You just make a run.
Yeah. I mean, and he loves to throw his toys out with the pram, but I have to be honest that most of the time, it's quite funny. You just laugh at it now, don't you? Yeah. Coming up, we'll turn our attention back to West Ham and what this summer could look like for the Hammers. We've had some calls for Scott Parker to come in for next season. Would that be a right decision? We'll discuss it next.
When you're sitting with your squad and you're looking to pick a squad of 26, you say, how many defenders do we need? I would normally go with 8.
There's 9, isn't there, in this
There's 9. And I wonder whether, mentioned earlier, question marks on Stone's fitness, James's fitness, and maybe Livramento's. Yep. 3 players has put an extra defender in his mind to cover that, which I think has been at the cost of Cole Palmer at the front end of the team looking at this.
Well, let's be ultimately clear. When you go through the squad, Livramento's played 164 minutes in the Premier League since the last international break. James has played 83 minutes of the Cup final, but not played against Spurs. He played 27 minutes off the bench against Liverpool at Anfield the week before. Stones, since the 2nd of December, has featured 4 times for Manchester City, totalling just 253 minutes of action. And Jed Spence, I mean, look, he played 70 minutes against Uruguay in the friendly on the Friday night of the last international break, but he's only started once under Roberto De Zerbi. So it's not as if everybody in that back line is playing regular football.
I guess you can look at that 2 ways.
you could say there's a risk because they've not played many minutes, or you could say actually they're coming in fresher than some of the players because they've not played so many minutes. Looking at your face, Stuart, you think they should have had a lot more minutes under their belt.
I think people are a little bit deluded with this word fresh. Listen, I'm fresh. I ain't played for 20 years. Don't make me a better player, you know. I think it's very, very misleading. People say being fresh. I like to get in a routine, a rhythm, 90 minutes, going to major tournaments. I'm sure Gab's the same. If you said to him, like, have a month off and then deliver, well, he'd probably take that. I'm wrong individual, sorry. But most people, most normal human beings need the consistency of playing. And this fresh, it's a red herring. Honestly, it really is. You're telling me, leave me out and don't play me a great deal since the 2nd of December in John Stones is going to be helpful this summer? I don't see it.
And he has a history of picking up injuries. Didn't he pull out the last squad injured at the last minute?
He did, but the other thing to mention is that he always seems to be available for England, especially at major tournaments, and he has managed to do that regularly.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic three-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower and Neil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
8, Bank Holiday Monday, May the 25th. Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. It is the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. On the way for you this morning, we'll be asking whether Arsenal are set to dominate English football with Pep Guardiola on his way out of the Premier League at City. 03717 2233 03717 223344. Here's the number to call. Is there even more to come from Mikel Arteta's Gunners? Remember, the Champions League final is live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Plenty of build-up coming throughout the week. And now, though, emotions very mixed in London yesterday as Spurs and West Ham went their separate ways.
Runs onto the pitch. Most of the Spurs players collapse on the floor. Absolutely drained by the whole emotion of the day and the emotion of the season. It is survival, but it is precious little else.
I'm looking forward to start the pre-season and to build a new team.
Well, it's a very empty London stadium, Adrian. The West Ham players did loiter around for quite a few minutes after the full-time whistle had blown. As the song says, fortune when it comes to West Ham is always hiding. This afternoon, their dreams of staying in the Premier League have faded and died.
Well, West Ham bounced straight back to the Premier League under Sam Allardyce in 2012 after they were relegated the season before. They'll have to do it all over again after yesterday's relegation. talkSPORT's Charlie Pritchard was outside the London Stadium at full time with some utterly dejected Hammers.
Look, it's a difficult day for West Ham. I'm here with Matt and Taylor, their fans. They've been to the game, they've walked out. I mean, look, it's not a happy day, is it, guys?
It's a devastating day for the club, and I'll be honest with you, it's absolutely it's heart-wrenching, you know, to see the club, and my son as well, you know.
Yeah, it's only relegation, you know. You can come back. It's you know. Look, it was obviously.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah, it's obviously bitterly disappointing for West Ham. And look, let's get a view from the inside, if you like. A man who played over 350 times with the Hammers. It's very good morning to Tony Gale. Morning, Gailey.
Morning, Tony.
Morning, Gabby. Morning, Jeff.
Were they just a shade unlucky, Tony? You know, look, 39 points, usually enough to stay up. I noticed they won 10 games. If you looked at last season, the relegated sides won 6 and 4 and 2. So have they just been caught out, you know, by this particular season?
I think it was coming a bit, Jeff. I think they've sleptwalked into it a little bit because in previous seasons, if you have a look, there was in and around it. And it was coming. It was like, oh, you know, come on, boys, you know, it's coming. You've got to be really careful here. And then the start of the season with the change of the managers and everything happening, nothing ever settled down. It never settled down. They never got a run together. And it wasn't till the end, prior maybe to the last 4 games, where they weren't, 4 games before the last game, sorry, where they didn't get the good results. They had a chance of survival. But, yeah, 39 is a lot of points to go down with, Jeff. But they've been down with 42 before, all those years ago, haven't they? So they're breaking records that you don't want to break, really.
Tony, there's obviously a lot of problems this season. You know, change of managers, maybe some of the players coming in not being good enough. The Paqueta problem, you know, he didn't do much this season and left when the club probably needed him. But this fan base is massive, isn't it, of West Ham? You know, like playing against them, Upton Park, the atmosphere there, this new stadium, filling it out, winning the Europa Conference League. How have West Ham not gone on to the next level? How are they not every season qualifying for Europe? Why aren't they trying for Champions League qualification? A stadium like that and a fan base, how have they got into this situation, mate?
I think it's just been poor recruitment, Gabby. I think it's everything now. And the recruitment team is, you know, when they've gone down as well. I hope there's a strategy in place because we know that a lot of money's got to come in now to, you know, fit the requirements of the fair play rules and everything else. So you're talking about 100 million plus probably that they got to get in before they start their challenge for the championship. So same as what you were saying before, I hope there's a strategy there for selling players and buying players as well, because, as you know, boys, that championship is really, really difficult. It's going to go down to 8 teams, I do believe, next week. The playoffs, but that's no different to anything. You want to get straight up out of that if you can.
Yeah. Who will be in charge, Tony?
But when you're selling your best players, your key players, your fair players.
Oh, just losing you a second.
Sorry, Jeff.
Tony, who's going to be in charge, do you think? Will Nuno be on his way out?
It seems to be by the things that are being said, Jeff. Will Nuno be there? If he does go, you do need someone that who knows what he's doing in the Championship, knows the opposition as well as his own team. But when you don't want to be fighting with your hands behind your back, Jeff, do you? Because you're going to have to get rid of a lot of the good players. Only the star names are really going to bring the money in for the fair play requirements. So it's going to be a tough task. Not as easy just to know the Championship. You've also got to have the players.
It's a shame, isn't it, Tony, when you look at the likes of Bournemouth, how they're run, Brighton, how they're run, and you're looking at West Ham and you're thinking, like, winning that trophy, European trophy, it should be, like, I don't repeat myself, but it must just be so frustrating, and a lot of fans must be confused, like, spending 20 million on Fulkrug, Kilman 40 million, Todibo 35 million. Some of the players have been shocking, haven't they?
Yeah, big waste of money, Gabby. I mean, some of those you mentioned there, like, and that just blows your budget, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they hardly played you. And they, unfortunately, are the first ones that want to jump ship when you get relegated. There's no loyalty at all from them. It's going to be so difficult to get that Championship squad in alignment to maintain a challenge. And they need to do it now. Whatever you're doing, do it now. Do it now. Give someone time. Give him a little pre-season in there. If it is a new manager, like you were saying, Jeff, Gabby, and give him that time to get himself sorted out. 63,000 every week, sellouts. Probably, I reckon, next season going to be 45,000. That's still a lot. Still a lot in the Championship, isn't it? So give them what they want. Give them it to come straight back up and get back in that Premier League, I hope.
Well, look, it's a lot in any division, Tony, 40-odd thousand. And, you know, West Ham get massive attendances. Look, I think we all accept that some of the big name players, Somerville, maybe Fernandez, Castellanos, they'll be off. But what about Jared Bowen? Is there any way you think that West Ham will be able to persuade him to play for them in the Championship? And can they afford to keep him?
Exactly. And does Jared want to, his little day in the sun, so to speak? And he deserves it, actually, because Jared's not one of the ones that's chuck the towel in. He deserves it. If he does go, I think we've had 6.5 years out of Jared where he's been brilliant. He's absolutely, and everybody remember that he got that goal in the Conference Cup final a few years ago that gave him that trophy that they'd never had for 40 odd years. So if Jared goes, I think he would go with some blessings, actually. Some of the others, unfortunately, didn't try a leg. You have a look at them and you look at the likes of Fulkrug. That's got to be one of the worst signings. And you think, what's gone on there? And the lad Pablo, he's just come in. Castellanos has done okay, but he's just struggled. Yeah. He's struggled. I mean, Gabby had recognised as a striker. Yeah. You've got to have something. You've got to have a bit of pace, or you've got a bit older.
He's a bit of a work. Do you know what I mean? He works hard, but no quality, not a threat. And you're looking at it and saying, Callum Wilson, at least he scored 7 Premier League goals. You would have played him a lot more if he was available than Pablo.
Yeah. And again, it's not Pablo's fault. He's been bought for that. So, but he is a trier, Gabby. You're right. He is a trier. You can't fault him for his efforts, but it's the quality you needed when you're spending like the likes of 25 million on him. Just wanted a little bit of quality just to get out.
Tony, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Cheers, you too. Luke, who is a West Ham fan, this is pretty much what you were saying, Gabby, there, Got to be relegated. We got what we deserve. It's been coming since the Europa Conference League when we didn't use that moment to push on. The club stagnated and we got relegated, so we earned it. I think we will come back, but I'd rather Craig Bellamy than Scott Parker, sick of getting the same managers off the managerial merry-go-round.
You know what, Jeff? Sometimes it can work against your relegation, but sometimes it can actually help. Sometimes getting rid of the players that want to play for the football club, if you come straight back up, sometimes it can be, I know it's a weird thing to say, but Does that push Sullivan to sell? Does new owners come in? Can it be a new start for West Ham?
Yeah,
in a way,
and it can be, but it can also go the other way. If you just look at Leicester City now, you know, so
you just want to play.
Got to wait and see as far as West Ham are concerned, which way it does
exactly.
go.
And you look at Leicester, how many players from the Premier League stayed and weren't up for the fight at the Championship?
Yeah,
might have been really good players, but don't want to fight. If West Ham have the same problem where they can't get rid of some of their bigger earners and they're sulking in the Championship, you'll get found out, mate.
Absolutely,
you will get found out, Jeff. Like, you won't want to go to Lincoln away or thinking you're a Premier League player. You'll get turned over.
But equally, you know, just to give some encouragement to West Ham fans, you know, for every Leicester, there's an Ipswich.
Exactly.
You know, so we shall see. We shall see. The EFL fixture release date, by the way, a month today, 25th of June at midday. West Ham fans, you won't want to miss it. Probably start with Millwall away. What do you think?
But you know, a quick one, Jeff, as well, with a new manager. Because they're going to be back earlier, a lot of managers, especially when I finished, Steve Bruce would do a pre-season for the players that didn't play much. So basically, you didn't play much this season, you come back a bit earlier, and you do maybe in Portugal with physios, you do a pre-season, get a manager in, so he knows what players he wants to keep. We're probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from some of the players having to be back for pre-season for the new season.
Yeah.
So make a decision now. Don't wait. Give him the best chance to get his player sorted for next season.
Coming up, we turn our attention back to Arsenal and just how strong favourites are they for next season's Premier League.
Thomas Tuchel, when it comes to naming these squads, he always gives us a headline, doesn't he? Do you remember when we were broadcasting from Ascot and he left out Jude Bellingham? Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been omitted, so there is always a talking point. But I think if we'd sat down yesterday, before obviously we started getting all the news yesterday afternoon, and put our 26-man squad down, there's probably, 4 names in there that maybe we wouldn't have expected?
3 or 4, maybe, yeah.
None of us would have had Ivan Toney. I mean, not Ivan Toney wouldn't have had himself by the sound of things.
The fact he's at the embassy this morning tells you everything.
Yeah. As far as the back four is concerned, I think it will be James, Konsa, Gay and O'Reilly to start the first game of the tournament. I think we're pretty solid on that. So therefore, you can afford to take a couple of wild cards, a couple of slightly different players that fill gaps later on in the tournament. John Stones, we mentioned the lack of minutes. You know, we can't expect him to play 10 games or 8 games in 4.5 weeks. It's not viable bearing the amount of minutes that he's got under his belt. But class is permanent, and Thomas Tuchel likes to have him around. If you remember last year when we were in Girona, he wasn't fit. But he brought him into the camp even though he wasn't part of the squad because he wants him around. Why is that? Just explain to us what it is about him that he really likes.
Well, these boys have got to spend 7 weeks together, you know, so you've got to have the chemistry right within the group. If you've got some great influencers within that group, it's brilliant, you know, just to facilitate everyone. More importantly, I, as a manager, never had to worry about number 1 to 11. They looked after themselves. You take them to a major tournament, they're picked, they're happy. It's the ones from 12 to 26. I always used to make sure, as a manager, whenever we went to a major tournament, the day after we played,
Let's get in there.
Yeah, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, and no prizes for guessing who's alongside me. It's Gabby Agbonlahor. I'll tell you what, a great win for your lot yesterday at City. I was shocked by City's lineup, I've got to be honest, with no Haaland, Donnarumma, Nick O'Reilly, Kustanov, Cherky, Doku, Gahey, none of them. But from an England perspective, looking at that game, as I say, brilliant for Villa. Ollie Watkins, absolutely brilliant form at the moment. But I looked at that second goal and how he did John Stones. And it made me very concerned that John Stones is in the England World Cup squad. If that's the sort of shape that he's in, he's had virtually no football.
No. I mean, is that his 9th appearance in the Premier League this season? Even when he's been in the team this season, whenever he's played, I've looked at him, lost a yard of pace, and he was never quick. John Stones is very good on the ball. Yes, he can play defensive midfield if needed. But I'm worried. I really am, Jeff. I look at Konsa and Gahey, who'll start. And then I'm looking at Kwanzaa, done well at Leverkusen, but wasn't good enough for Liverpool in the Premier League. I look at Dan Burn, okay defender. He's not had the best of seasons. And I look at Stones and I say, if Gahey and Kwanzaa get injured and Stones starts, and you're playing against the Brazil, Spain, France, whoever it can be, Argentina, they'll be licking their lips because injury prone. He could get injured. Touch what he doesn't. Training over in America. Livramento, injury prone. Reece James, injury prone. Why would you take 3 defenders that have got injury problems when you have Trent, you have Harry Maguire? Do you know what I mean? I get it with Trent, he's defending, but I just think, why are you picking... No, Lewis Hall?
I was shocked by
that. Baffled me. I was like, pardon? Let me check. Can you read that out again? Some of his decisions have been a bit odd. And all I would say is, dear Lord, the front pages of the papers, if this doesn't go to plan for Thomas Tuchel.
Absolutely. Look, let's hope they stay injury-free then, and that Thomas Tuchel has got it absolutely right. Time will tell. Right, let's get the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, morning.
Morning, Steve-O.
Jeff, Gabby, very, very good morning. Listen, before we get into the odds, just got to say how great it was to hear from Big Al earlier.
Amazing.
I know all the talkSPORT listeners will be wishing him well. And, look, he sounded in good form there, looking good. So,
yeah, spot on, mate.
The big man's going to be back. So, Al, if you're listening, not that you probably are on this bank holiday Monday, but if you're listening, we all wish you well and looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. So, Steve, we've been talking about the possibility of this being the start of an Arsenal dynasty. Looking ahead to next season, I'm guessing they're clear favourites, are they?
They are, but I don't mean to upset Arsenal fans, but I think they're almost clear favourites, but not by default. That's a silly thing to say because I was just looking at the table. I mean, they were so far clear. They were 20 points clear of Aston Villa in 4th, Gab, and that's not having a dig at Aston Villa, by the way.
Problem.
That is just picking out that actually in the end they've won it comfortably. But I just think they're 6-4 favourites. But I think you look at Manchester City, we know how difficult it's going to be we assume Maresca replacing Pep, but look what happened at Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson, the impossible job replacing him. Liverpool, we don't know who's going to be in charge there. They've gone right off the boil, having won the title, of course, 12 months ago. Manchester United, can Carrick carry on doing what he's done? Chelsea, new manager Alonso, okay, no European football.
Yes.
So you pick, and then you get down to Aston Villa at 25-1, Gab.
Impossible.
So, look, Arsenal are worthy favourites. Excuse me. Whether it's the start of the dynasty, I don't know. I think a lot, as I say, a lot depends on how the big rivals, Manchester City, Liverpool. I mean, replacing Pep, is Maresca the right man, Jeff, Gabby? It looks like he's got the job.
Yeah, I think he probably is the right man, but we know the players have got to get used to Maresca. Maresca will be a different manager, coach to Pep Guardiola, but I look at Aston Villa, I don't even put them in the same category, what they're allowed to spend because of these stupid rules. They're overachieving Aston Villa, and how Unai Emery hasn't been nominated for Manager of the Year is incredible. Top 4 and winning Europa League is wild.
You took the words out of my mouth, actually, Gab. You talk about Manager of the Year. So many potential candidates.
Yes.
Iraola, what he's done at Bournemouth. You've got them into Europe. Labrie at Sunderland. I mean, it seems a long time ago since we were beating Sunderland on penalties in the Checkatrade Trophy final. They're now in Europe. I mean, what a season. Sunderland were the shortest priced team for relegation at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has been, I think, an extraordinary Premier League season. When you look at the table, only one of the promoted teams went down. That will give hope, obviously, to Coventry, to the teams that came up, Ipswich, obviously, and Hull, who, again, are all odds on to be relegated. But I say they've just got to look at it. Tottenham were 40-1 shots to be relegated. They're 40-1 shots to be relegated again. What's to suggest that all of a sudden they're going to improve massively when they've had two really poor seasons, haven't they?
And you mentioned Enzo Maresca, and obviously I wish him well, but, why haven't City gone out and tried to get Unai Emery from Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah, pardon, Steve-O, was that a yeah?
But look, and I know he plays in a different style and things like that, but City, they're not short of a bob or two, are they? Financially, they're in the sort of right state to go out and find a manager who is absolutely proven at the top level. And I would just argue Enzo Maresca is not quite proven at the top level.
Did Pep have a say in it? Worked with Maresca? Wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Yeah,
but the pressure's on Liverpool. Deary me.
Yeah.
Their squad needs a lot of work after spending 400 million.
Yeah.
They could struggle more next season, Steve-O.
Yeah, as I say, there are so many unknowns. But look, let's give credit. I haven't given a lot of credit. Let's give credit to Arsenal. At the end of the day, they have won it well. They obviously got a huge game coming up on Saturday. They're 11-10. I won't call them underdogs, but PSG clearly 4-6. That's to lift the trophy. It feels about right. We know PSG at their very best can blow teams away. Arsenal, I suppose, Gab, have to just try and keep it tight, don't they? It's what they've done. There's no point trying to go toe-to-toe with
keep it tight. And Declan Rice, that midfield, I do love the PSG midfield, but they haven't got legs like Declan Rice in there. He can dominate that. If they can have Martinelli on the counter-attack, if Hakimi going forward. So it's not a done deal for PSG. It's a tough game.
Never mind Saturday, Steve-O. What about the big one today? Gabby asked me earlier on who would I be going for in the League Two playoff finals, Salford or Notts County, and I couldn't separate them.
I'm glad you've said that, nor can we. 5-6 each of two. Who goes up? I mean, it is that close. In the 90-minute betting, not quite sure why, we narrowly favour Salford 13-8, 17-10 County. But as I say, in terms of going up, it is 5-6 each of two. It's it is that close. It's a huge day for those clubs. So Notts County in particular. Again, I sort of dig at Salford, but Notts County, one of the great historic names of British football, of course. So we'll be tuning into that one with interest. Gab, you got a view on that one?
I think a draw, mate. Extra time. I love a draw, Steve-O.
You do love
bit of drama. Bit of drama. We're used to that in the League One, League Two this season.
By the way, I don't know if either of you saw at the weekend. There was the WSL, the playoff game for a place in the WSL next season between Leicester and Charlton. And the Charlton goalkeeper, she saved 4 penalties in the penalty shootout. Mind you, every single one was in exactly the same spot.
Keeper's left, wasn't it?
They were great saves, but they were all low to the keeper's left. So she just went the same way, and she saved 4 of them. It was sensational.
She had a system, it worked, didn't she?
She did. Well, she also had all the information on a water bottle as well. She got booked for reading it. And she just picked it up, leant against the post and looked at it again. She was absolutely brilliant. She really was. Steve-O, thank you very much indeed.
Top man, Steve-O.
Cheers, fellas.
And that was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Coming up, Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Coming up, Arsenal fans, we want to hear from you. 03717 223344 was yesterday the first of many trophies under Mikel Arteta, many Premier League titles. We'll discuss that next.
at some of the attackers, Palmer and Foden left at home, the two omissions probably that define the talking points of the squad.
But we all expected it. I've been saying it for the last 2 months, and Manchester City fans and Chelsea fans are like, no, you can't leave them out. It's Cole Palmer, it's Foden. We know what Palmer can do in big games, but when you're not performing in that position where we got so much talent, the likes of Rodgers, Eze, look at Bowen, unfortunate not to be in the squad. Gibbs White can't get in the squad, so I don't think it's a shock that Foden and Palmer don't make it.
One of the things that he has said, Thomas Tuchel, is that he wasn't going to take a batch of number 10s. He was going to take players that played in specific positions in that front line. He has only taken 3 of them. He couldn't take 5. He didn't want to take Foden and Palmer and then crowbar them into the team out of position. Is that the right call?
I think so, because we saw, going back to the last European Championships, Gareth Southgate tried to do that with Foden in particular, and he ended up having a nightmare of a tournament. Palmer was used only sparingly. So, yeah, I understand the argument. I would have taken one more in that number 10 position, because obviously you can play Bellingham deeper if needed as well. And I think if you're talking about taking one more, Gabby's dead right on form. Foden has been off it for a long time. Palmer has had an injury-afflicted season and hasn't really been the Cole Palmer of old. Morgan Gibbs-White would have been the one for me. You look at his numbers, his best ever goal-scoring season. He's carried Forest away from relegation danger into a major European semi-final. So I think of all the players that have been left out, he'll be concerned this morning. I was just thinking there, actually, can we lend a few of these to Scotland? They'd appreciate it.
Unnecessary? Would you say unnecessary stoking the fires?
He is. I don't know whether that's an insult to England or Scotland at this moment in time. We'll dig deeper later.
Morgan Gibbs-White, the joint most goal contributions of any English player in the Premier League this season, didn't make the squad. 17 goals, Europa League semi-finalists. Come up with some big moments as well when Forest have needed it most. As a Forest man yourself, does that irk you a little bit?
I've looked at Gibbs-White's performances over the last 2 or 3 years. When he plays well, Forest play well. He does have dips in form, to be fair, and it's probably cost.
The Lions. Real-life fantasy rugby. Bitter rivalries set aside in a quest to create the world's best team in weeks. There's nothing like it, but who on earth had the idea, and how did it all begin? Incredibly, the first Lions tour was organised and funded by 3 men who played in England's first ever Test cricket match. The 1888 Lions squad, then made up of 17 English, 4 Scots and 1 Welshman and a Northern Irishman, took a 46-day boat trip to New Zealand before heading to Australia. The next one was the first to get official recognition from the RFU against the newly formed Springboks. Although the Lions won the series and beat the Boks again 5 years later, in the 12 series since in South Africa, they've only won 2. New Zealand has proved an even tougher hunting ground, just a 1 series win for the Lions in 11 attempts, which came in 1971. And then there was that nail-shredding drawn series in 2017, only the second in Lions history. Only once have the Lions clinched a series after losing the first test, 1989, when David Campese's infamous ghost pass was pounced upon by Ian Evans. To borrow the phrase from Jim Telfer, the Lions is Everest.
Very good morning to you. Bank Holiday Monday, May the 25th, 8:34. Hope you're going to have a fantastic day. Glorious clear blue skies down here in London.
Lovely, isn't it?
Where you are as well, yeah.
What a day.
It's going to be fantastic.
We've not asked someone to read you. Give us a bit of sun.
Yeah,
all we want.
That's all.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. It's one of the good things about having to get up 4:30 in the morning and do this show is when you finished at 10 and it's sunny outside.
Also, when you're walking over, when it's nice and bright and warm, it wakes you up straight away.
Yeah, it certainly does. Been a few months since that's happened, I'll tell you that. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling. As you'll gather, Gabby's with me and Arnold Clark. Shop the Upgrade event today. Get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. Now, after 22 long years, Arsenal finally have got their hands on the Premier League trophy.
Let it all go. Martin Odegaard and lifts the trophy aloft after all of those near misses. Mikel Arteta and his players have finally delivered when it really matters. And are we on the cusp of another North London dynasty?
We wear that shirt now in a different way. We are the champions, and that brings obviously a lot of joy, a different presence, more confidence, but as well a lot of responsibility, which is to now deliver much more now.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. Let's be honest, it's gone into this season under a lot of pressure, having come so close so often and being told by pretty much everyone that he had to deliver the title this season, and that is just what he has done. And I know he's not everybody's favourite, with one or two of the antics and things, but you can't deny he's done a brilliant job, Gabby.
Yeah, I think winning the Premier League this season, fantastic for Arsenal. But I know everyone spends money, of course they do, but they have spent £1 billion to get to this stage. A season where Liverpool have been off, Chelsea have been off, Spurs, you'd say, obviously not in that sense of title, but Manchester United still not in and about there. Manchester City, a lot of new players, big change as well for their squad of players. So they should, this season, have won the Premier League. Runners-up 2-3 seasons in a row. So I don't want to overpraise this Arsenal side, because the squad of players they've got, Jeff, is unbelievable. That good when Ranieri had to be taken out on loan to Marseille. Dowman can't really get any minutes. The options they've got is incredible, and they should be winning the Premier League. Next season with this squad of players, they are favourites. They should go again. But you have to give the manager praise, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Gill was on a few moments ago talking about West Ham and saying some of them didn't try a leg. You look at this Arsenal squad and you get the impression they're a real good unit. And, I look at people like Rice and Saka and Eze and Odegaard, and they strike me, and I don't know most of them, as good rounded individuals, just the type of people that you need in a squad.
I think the whole team, them players especially, like you says, of course, but Gabriel Saliba, strong. And you see the odd little moment, Gabriel and Rice having a little go at each other, but overall, even when the players come on, they're not sulking. It's a good team bond there. They're all in line with the manager. Arsenal Football Club are in a very good place as well. There's no issues at all. The fans finally winning that Premier League title. Now, a club like Arsenal, Jeff, need to win a Champions League. They really do, because look at clubs like Villa, Forest, Celtic, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, all won European Cups. A club like Arsenal really need to do that.
We talk about a dynasty. So what do they need to kick on again, if you like? And I'm thinking in terms of transfers. Do they need another striker? Do they need maybe an attacking left-hand sided player?
Yeah, I would. If Trossard, his stats haven't been great this season, but in big moments he has turned up. Is he one you keep, or do you look at replacing Trossard, Gabriel Jesus? Is it his time to go? Can you get maybe a club in Saudi, pay 30 million for him and bring in someone else? I think you have to go again, don't you? All champions, they always have little tweaks the summer afterwards where maybe 2 players go and you bring in better quality to add to that. But defensively, Luis Skelly, left back, Calafiori. Defensively, Mosquera and Icapia. Brilliant backup towards Gabriel and Saliba. Right back, Timber, Ben White. They're stacked everywhere, to be honest, Jeff. It's hard to look at faults at all.
Do they go in again, do you think, for Julian Alvarez?
I would, if possible.
He's got Jokeres and he's got goals in the end.
But Alvarez goes straight into that starting lineup, and that will make them win the Premier League a lot more comfy. I mean, Jokeres has done okay. Havertz at times does okay, but I feel Gabriel Jesus, I feel like it's time to him to be moved on. It wouldn't surprise me if that's one that they get out the door. But people will say this stat, there's no need for it, but I've been given the stat, Jeff, that 21 of the last 25 Premier League champions have got more points than Arsenal this season.
They got enough, though. So what did Mikel Arteta change to get this team over the line? Former Premier League manager Alan Pardew gave his thoughts to Natalie Sawyer on the Final Word last night.
I think the worst game that they played was at Brighton, where they were time wasting. They were, it was a set play goal. It was really kind of horrible to watch. And obviously the Brighton manager was quite critical. I was very critical.
Was that the night where you said an asterisk?
Yeah, because but I was actually referring to the league more so than Arsenal. That the whole league, it's been not a classic Premier League year for me in terms of entertaining football. And that's, I think, where this Arsenal team have put that all to one side, and winning at all costs has been the agenda.
Yeah.
And then you can't argue with that. They've done it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how you win it, does it, Gabby, as long as you win it?
No one's going to look back in 15, 20 years and say, Arsenal won that Premier League, it was a poor Premier League, all the teams wasn't at it. No, Arsenal won the Premier League, simple as that. No one's going to take that away from them. But next season, they should be the favourites. They are with the bookies to go and win it again, and they should.
Yeah.
With that squad of players, Jeff, I mean, if Eze's injured, you got Odegaard. If Saka's injured, you got Madueke. You got Wanyeri you have to send out on loan, who starts for a lot of Premier League clubs. They are stacked, and they should be winning the big trophies.
Yeah, and trust me, when you look at the record books, and it says Premier League season 25 to 26, there won't be any asterisk. None at all. 7 points
clear.
7 points clear.
Yes.
Arsenal win the league, and they may very well do it again next season.
Agreed.
Paul says, I hear what Gabby says. You have to deliver, and they have togetherness took them there, and I think there's something in that as well, Paul. And Mark in Nuneaton says, give us some praise, Rios. We can only beat what is in front of us.
Yeah.
The other managers of other sides need to have a look at themselves, enjoy the sun, says Mark in Nuneaton.
I think as well, because they've got this one over the line, Jeff, that's the pressure off. They'll be more relaxed next season, and maybe they win it next season more comfortably. You never know.
And I just want to say goodbye to Scott, who's turning over. Bye, Scott. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Hurrah, Scott.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarx Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarx.
Yeah, Hull City are back in the big time. Oh, what a dramatic conclusion it was to that playoff final as well. And the poor goalkeeper.
I felt sorry for him.
Well, I did too, because he's a Middlesbrough boy, He's a local lad. And he had precious little to do. Neither of them had. But Ollie McBurney, it would be Ollie McBurney after the week that he'd had, who was the man who got the clinching goal. We'll be talking to David Mailer, who was part of the 2016 Hull City side that got promoted to the Premier League through the playoffs. But up next, we'll be focusing on Liverpool. Mo Salah and Andy Robertson have said their goodbyes at the weekend. How many others could be out of the door? Big summer ahead for Liverpool. We'll focus on that next. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
I thought it was great at the end of the game, the way the players were with him.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Emi Martinez picked him up.
Because we saw a wee side to him that you don't see.
Yes.
We saw a different side to him.
What was funny, though, when Emi Martinez picks him up, on the clip behind, you can see the players are a bit like Tyrone Mings. They're laughing like, oh, my God, how has he done that?
Yeah.
Because then they know that, like, the manager's not really like that. He doesn't like to be the centre of attention.
Yeah.
But it was incredible scenes, Ali, afterwards. So emotional for so many Villa fans. And we were lucky to be in the stadium.
Brilliant.
All the clips back home, Ali, like, so many places showed the game. Thousands of fans on the streets still now celebrating across the world. How many fans I spoke to last night that have come from Australia?
See,
They've got 4 flights to get here.
Same.
Some fans have not had a hotel room overnight. They've got the early flight this morning, so they just stayed up. Some fans have got to get them back through Germany, through different parts of Europe to get home. But what that win means for every Aston Villa fan in the world, Ali, it's just unbelievable. I can't describe in words, and I hope we get some good callers on today. and they'll have their stories of what this means.
I'm
to
sure
them.
we will, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, 6. We're the champions, of course, rang out at Besiktas Park as Aston Villa get their hands on that Europa League trophy. I wonder if you've learnt the words by now, Gab. Here's your...
Mate, I know.
Well, listen, we're going to bring you back down here for a crashing bang, my friend. Here's your rendition of that classic last night in the stadium. Fantastic. Good on you. I was just...
Hilarious, mate.
I met all the Villa fans before the game, man, and they were brilliant, Gabby. Brilliant. Older gentlemen, young boys.
Ali, there's been no incidents.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me on this bank holiday Monday morning, May the 25th. Headlines today. West Ham's exit from the Premier League after 14 years was confirmed yesterday. Comes with a huge amount of criticism from fans as well as uncertainty and concern for the future. Bruno Fernandes broke the Premier League assist record for a single season, notching his 21st of the campaign yesterday. And if you missed it, Alexander Usyk pulled out a knockout win from the jaws of defeat by stopping Rico Verhoeven in the 11th round of their heavyweight world title fight in Egypt. It was a very controversial decision indeed. A lot of questions about the stoppage. Here's talkSPORT's Adam Smith and Spencer Oliver's reaction.
Now, Mark Lyson had a good look at him. They took their time with the gum shield. They almost gave him every chance, but he was really badly hurt. Yes, of course, he complained at the stoppage, but I think that's fair enough. It's obviously a shame for the corner, the Dutch corner. Peter Fury done so well, Rico Verhoeven. But Alexander Usyk, Spencer, does what champions do. He found a way on a tough night.
Adam, you said it there. He found a way on a very tough night. He looked laboured, you know, all the way through that contest. Verhoeven taking nothing away from him. He pushed it. He was...
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing is, it's only Verhoeven's second professional... I mean, he's a kickboxer.
Yeah.
You know, how can you stop a fight 1 second from the end of the round? And Verhoeven was ahead at the time.
It was miles ahead, but apparently the scorecards were like level, which is wild.
I think two of them were level and one of them had Verhoeven.
Usyk was definitely the Usyk that we're used to. He looked not in the greatest shape he's ever looked at. He looked laboured, he looked tired. And I just didn't like it. I think it was bad for boxing again. We've seen this so much in recent years, the way fights have been stopped, and there's no way you stop that. That looked to me like the referee looked at it and thought, okay, Usyk getting a few decent shots off. Stop. Got 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me the ref didn't know that the bell was about to go. He would have been okay. And in the last round, it's all up for grabs. I didn't like it. It was a terrible stoppage.
Do you think that Usyk underestimated him, or is Usyk?
Yes.
He's 39. Is Usyk on the downturn?
100%. He looked like he's on the down, and rightly so. Age comes for everyone. You can't hide away from getting old in any sport, Jeff. And he looked old in there. Looked like he didn't have ideas. He got that uppercut to knock him down, but I just think it was a terrible stoppage. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, wow, Usyk could lose here for the first time. Incredible. So if you're the likes of Itoma, you're looking at this Usyk now and thinking, this is the version I can beat.
Let's move back to football, shall we? Liverpool waving goodbye to two of their greatest players yesterday, Mo Salah and Andy Robertson. Robertson spoke to talkSPORT after the home draw with Brentford and asked what he's most proud of during his Liverpool career.
I think just the way, I've, been able to stay at this club for 9 years, to be honest. It's not an easy club to stay at for so long in terms of the expectations, what, the demands on you and things like that. And I just think the consistency that we've all been able to show over that period of time, it's something that we should all be incredibly proud of. And I think I've played a small part in that, and I'm, really proud to play a small part in that. The trophies I've won, but, the love that I've been able to receive has just been phenomenal. And honestly, what happened today and also what happened in the last 9 years will stay with me for the rest of my life. And this is now my club, and I love everything about it.
Yeah, well, he's been very modest because Andy Robertson's been absolutely brilliant for Liverpool over the years, no question.
It's a shame that they're both leaving because I don't think Robertson's maybe got the send-off that he deserves. It's more Salah, isn't it, that you're seeing? Because he's been the best left-back in the country for many, many years. And Spurs, if that's the move that he might be going, they've got a great left-back coming in.
Yeah.
Still at the top.
If I'm Hull City, I'm on the phone with him. Why do you come back? We're in the Premier League.
And also Spurs relegation season after season. Yeah. Do you want that, Robertson?
Let's bring in the Telegraph's Merseyside correspondent, Dom King. Morning to you, Dom.
Morning, Dom.
Hello, Dom.
You're right, mate.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you now, thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah, so look, let's look ahead. And back. 19 defeats in all competitions this season for Liverpool. How do they go about reducing it to the 4 or 5 that they can really afford in a season?
The hard work starts now, Jeff. It's been, I think, looking at everybody's faces when they were leaving the stadium last night, it was just relief that it's over. Got a lot of hard work to do in the transfer window, and you're right. There's no margin for error when they come back in July, because the pressure's going to be on immediately. 19 defeats is an unforgivable number, really. It hasn't been good enough right the way back from autumn, but listen to what how people are talking about it, they believe with the right additions in the transfer window they will be better again next year.
Dom, Liverpool have been through this before, haven't they? And so have Manchester United recently. If they don't sort it out this summer for next season, and they continue to have a poor season next season, you can find yourself in a predicament where, okay, Liverpool maybe top 4 is every season what they're looking for, when Liverpool have to be fighting for the Premier League every season, don't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the last week, Gabby, will have sharpened everybody's mind about what is ahead of them next year. I know Pep Guardiola's leaving Man City, but they're going to be strong. Just look at the depth of the squad that they've got. Your boys just won the Europa League, Champions League places next season. You'll spend again and be stronger for it. Yeah. Man United are stable. They're going to spend. Arsenal are where they are. I think Chelsea will be. You might laugh about this, but when Xabi Alonso comes in next year and he's got a free week, he's got 3 weeks to coach. Chelsea are going to improve massively. So all of a sudden you're looking at the situation and going, well, top 5, that's going to be the top 5 or even 6. That's going to be a challenge to be in it. So there's literally no margin for error. But Arne Slot was saying yesterday about injuries, and he is right. They have decimated Liverpool at stages. Alexander Isak's had a season to forget. Florian Wirtz, as I know, he hasn't had injuries as such, but he just hasn't done what everybody expected to. And I would be looking, never mind who comes in, they're the two that I would be placing a focus on next year.
Yeah, but equally, Dom, and I get completely what you're saying, it's got to be another summer of strengthening, hasn't it? And you mentioned Alexander Isak, not fit, not firing. And with Ekitike out till January, at the earliest, then surely a top striker has to be the priority for Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that, Jeff. I don't think they'll go and sign someone like for like, if you see what I mean. I think what the priority is going to be is pace on the flanks, which is what they've been missing. I don't think they're going to look for a number 9 as such, given what they've got. I think the resources will be used elsewhere. I've said this before. I think Liverpool need a number 6 to protect the defence. I think if you do that, then the dynamic of the team will improve dramatically. I think they'll be a lot more stable. I don't think that midfielders essentially worked properly this year. I don't think the chemistry's been quite right between McAllister and Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. I think they need somebody, like Fabinho. When Fabinho came in 8 years ago, it was almost 8 years ago to the day that Liverpool pulled off his signing. It was a bank holiday Monday.
Dom, I agree on that, but I just think losing Mo Salah, Elise's not going to come. Who can they go and get? Because the pressure on Isak next season, the pressure on Wirtz, you know better than anybody. That Anfield crowd will not accept another season like this. They want to be fighting for the title.
No, I don't. Yeah, fighting for the title. Yeah, is obviously the ambition. But Gabby, the one thing that there's been the issue this year has been the lack of intensity and the lack of excitement at Anfield, and that's. There's an awful lot of debate online about Arne Slot, and rightly, because as we started this discussion by saying 19 defeats is an unforgivable number for Liverpool. But the thing that I believe has been the most troubling part for him has been the lack of excitement in games at Anfield. There's been a sort of lull in the atmosphere. There's been little to sort of get fans out of the seat, and that is the one thing that's got to change. They've got supporters have got to be going to the stadium next season, knowing that they're going to be entertained and know they're going to see a team that's ready to play in the style that they want.
Dom, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Dom. Top man, mate.
Cheers.
The Telegraph's Merseyside correspondent, Dom King. Kevin Newry has texted about Liverpool. It's a bit harsh, this, Kev. Says, Van Dijk needs to go. He'll be using his bus pass to get to training soon enough. McAllister is done too. Bit harsh, but there are probably some Liverpool fans out there who will agree with you, Kev.
Yep.
Look, coming up, we'll turn our attention to Spurs. Mickey van der Ven called the season an embarrassment. But is there hope for the future under Roberto De Zerbi? We'll discuss that next if you want to have your say. 03717 223344 is the number to call for you Spurs fans.
With Villa, right? Unai Emery is the man. He is like he has full control over everything. Transfers, youth club. There's no one telling him what to do. And there's been rumours about him going to Madrid. Can you imagine him going to Madrid, mate? If he's going to bench Mbappe to play someone else, mate, he'd get ousted straight away, wouldn't he?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the perfect fit. It's the perfect club. It's the perfect.
No, but you're still Aston Villa, though.
What do you mean, Fundy?
Well, you mentioned Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Who's the bigger team?
What do you mean?
Cundy, come on, mate.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. Are you sorry? Have you taken stupid pills?
I don't know what.
Sorry. Are we? Sorry.
Were you trying to say Aston Villa bigger than Real Madrid?
No, of course not, mate. Of course not.
What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're saying. Explain yourself.
No, hold on. He's saying he wouldn't go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
Sorry, unless I've got you wrong, Dave.
Yeah, because he's not in control.
It's Real Madrid. What's wrong with you lot? Are you joking me?
Cundy, mate. Thing is, though,
Are
Cundy,
you
listen to me, right? Hang on, Cundy,
listen to me. Are you saying to me you turned down Real Madrid?
As a manager? Right, so...
No, man. What do you think I'm talking about?
Cundy, listen to me, right? He could go to Madrid, right? And
Dave, think about what you're going to say before you say it, okay?
Cundy, mate,
you've got time to think about it, okay?
You are.
He's
annoying me.
Take it away.
Dave, he's annoying me.
Yeah, man, your canister is way bigger than your brain, mate. I swear down.
Say it then, Dave. Say it. So here's the situation.
Right,
I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want the job? Unai, do you want the job?
It's career suicide, Cundy. It's career suicide. If you went to Real Madrid, right, you have 6 months, you'd oust Mbappe, he'd get ousted by the fans, and then he'd be done. Right, at Villa, I'll tell you what, he could play bloody Tyrone Mings at striker, and I'd still trust the process. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying he's going to say no to Real Madrid?
Yes. Cundy, give Red a ball, mate. You're Chelsea. Where are you? 9th?
I tend to agree with you.
I don't know what to say today.
No, I get the whole. I get James. I get your whole argument.
Say to him.
No,
I don't know what to say today.
Shut up a minute.
Fancied having a beer in the stands while watching your team at the Emirates? Well, this season you actually can, and not just there. You can do it at Anfield, Goodison Park, Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford too. But hold on, I hear you cry. Isn't drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games illegal? You're right, for the men's game it still is, but the Women's Super League is doing something different, and here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. From fan riots at the 1980 Scottish Cup final to the Heysel disaster years later, things were unsafe and the consequences were disastrous. Then in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed, especially since other sports don't face the same restrictions. If you're popping down to watch the Red Roses roar at Twickenham, feel free to grab a pint on the way to your seat. Wandering down to Lord's to catch some boundary bashing? Fill your boots with G&Ts. But if you were hoping to cheers your club's promotion to the Premier League with a Prosecco in hand from pitchside, sorry, it'll have to be tea or Bovril. In 2021, it looked like things might finally change. The government commissioned the Crouch Report, a fan-led review into football governance. One recommendation was to allow League Two and National League clubs to lift the alcohol ban to boost matchday revenue. But nothing came of it. Authorities still weren't convinced that fans could be trusted. And then in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL 2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. Now, the women's game is raising the bar, literally. Select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move, showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
Good morning to you. 5 minutes past 9 o'clock, Monday, May the 25th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Buy your used car, get a free 2-year service plan plus an extra £500 when you buy an exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. Still to come before 10. We'll ask a man promoted twice with Hull City, David Mailer, whether he thinks there's any chance that they could emulate Leeds United or even Sunderland in the Premier League next season. Now, though, it's curtains as far as the top flight is concerned for West Ham, but delight for Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0. João Palhinha with Tottenham Hotspur's 18th league goal this season from a corner, whipped in by Tell. Pickford came but couldn't claim. It was headed against the post by Palhinha. It came straight back to him. He prodded it towards goal. It agonisingly trickled towards the goal line. It just about went over.
You're not up. You stayed up.
No, we're up.
No, you're not up.
What do you mean?
No,
We're up.
Hull are up.
No, we're up.
No, you stayed in the same division.
No, but we're up.
No, you're not up.
No, we're up.
No, you're not up.
We could have gone down.
No, you could have gone down.
We're up.
But that doesn't mean you're up.
The only part of that football club that deserves to be in the Premier League are the fans.
Tottenham Hotspur are safe.
Yes, Spurs remain in the top flight, and you've got to give a lot of credit to Roberto De Zerbi for that, for instilling some positivity into the club over the past few weeks. Positivity that had been very much lacking earlier in the season. Here's what the Italian told talkSPORT after the game regarding a summer squad building exercise.
We will lose players if they want to go. Otherwise, they stay with me. Maybe we have to change. Yesterday I said, 2 days ago, I said I'm not stupid, and they saw everything. For sure, we have to bring players with passion, with value. They have to feel the shirt. They have to be proud to stay in Tottenham and to play for these people, these fans. But I have a clear idea in my head.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt, is there, Gabs, that a whole raft of players are going to be leaving Tottenham during the course of the summer. So it's all down to recruitment, really. Look, Tottenham is still an attractive proposition,
of course
for a player.
Of course it is. You know, they make a lot of profit. They'll have funds to spend 100%. What's scary, though, Jeff, is one of their players, Richarlison, top goal scorer, 11 goals, but he's one on the front of the list that I want to get out. Not good enough at all. And that's what's scary about sometimes with stats. You might look at stats and say 11 goals is a great number 9 to have. When you watch him play, doesn't hold the ball up, can't run in behind, not got the pace, he's not got enough as a striker for me in the Premier League that I'd want at a club like Spurs. Palhinha, second top goal scorer with 5 goals. Then it's Van der Ven, Romero and Tal on 4, Simmons 2, Mawani 1. I mean, the stats, wow, they're damning on this season from Spurs' point of view. I think I've run out of names that I'll get rid of. There's probably 10, 11 that I'll say don't come back. Kulusevski, you've been great for the football club, but to be out for the most of the season with that injury, be a bit ruthless, you've got to go. Tal, you turned up maybe the last 6 or 7 games, but you're not good enough either. Romero, don't come back after the World Cup. Danso, maybe a squad player next season. But they've got a lot of problems in that squad of players that aren't good enough.
Yeah, no, we look down Basuma and Sarr.
Yeah.
You know, and for me,
Benson Call's been average as well.
And young goalkeeper's coming and done well, but do you go into a new season relying on him? I'm not.
I think there's no better manager, though, that is ruthless and will be like, okay, I'm not celebrating once the game's over. Today, meetings should be today with the sporting directors. Okay, these players' agents need to be told today, find a new club. I don't want you next season in my plans.
I mean, they'll be hoping very much to have James Maddison back fully fit next season. He can be a difference maker. Yep. Let's head to the phone lines. Let's speak to Jason, who's a Spurs fan. Morning, Jason.
Morning, Jason.
Good morning. How are you both?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Are you relieved?
Yeah, I mean, you've thrown me a little bit because of some of the comments you've made about some of the players, and one that stands out for me is Tell. to criticise Tell for him only really performing at the last part of the season is ludicrous because
Why?
he wasn't getting played. Because he wasn't getting played by Thomas Frank.
Yeah,
Thomas
but
Frank
when he
wasn't-
did, he wasn't great, mate. There's a reason why Bayern Munich got rid of him.
Well, I think if you sat through every single game like I've sat through, and you've watched the difference that Tell has made in the last probably 6 or 7 games,
We said that,
and the way the manager speaks about him, he thinks he's going to be a great player, and I think that we've got a very, very, very talented, gifted player there. That with the right manager, which we've now got, you will see a huge difference in him. But on a kind of a positive note, I really wanted to phone up to say thank you to the fans, all my fellow supporters, because they were incredible this season. Because really and truly, we should have just been booing every game and making a stand, but we didn't. We realised that we needed to rally behind this team. We've realised that we've now got a manager that I'm as excited about as I was in the region of Pochettino. When Pochettino was there in his heyday, this manager feels like he could get the absolute best out of Tottenham Hotspur. He feels like he's got the passion and the desire to want to achieve it.
I agree.
Hearing Maddison come out and talk about his absolute love for the club absolutely gave me it kind of gave me goosebumps yesterday in the most dramatic season. And I wasn't celebrating finishing 17th, believe me. I was celebrating the relief of not being relegated, because I know how horrendously detrimental that would have been for our club. So people coming out on social media saying, oh, it's utterly ridiculous that Spurs fans are celebrating 17th. They're just stupid, because that wasn't the case. And now this board, I mean, whoever managed to convince Roberto to come to the club, they deserve a lot of credit, right? Because of all the rubbish they did. And I was on this show absolutely sort of demising the fact that we got Thomas Frank. I could never understand why we got it. And all I've been told is how good he is as a manager. And I look at Brentford and I see that they've actually improved since Thomas Frank's left. And I'm not criticising him as a human being, because I'm sure he's a lovely guy. But he wasn't the right fit for Tottenham, and it should never have happened. We should never. I know, again, we finished 17th last season, but we won our first cup in years and years and years. And to then go and sack that manager when we were never in a relegation fight last season, and there wasn't 1 point, even though we finished 17th, we were always a good 10 or 12 points above relegation. We had all the injuries, and he obviously concentrated on winning a cup.
Yeah. Jason, you were 10 points clear because the other sides below you were much worse than those sides battling against relegation this season. But
of course, but then you can say that about Arsenal winning the league. That they won the league because Liverpool were nowhere near as good as they were meant to be.
Do you agree though? Do you agree though? What we're saying, that the manager has to be ruthless now, get rid of so many players.
No, what I agree with, obviously the manager has to be ruthless in the sense that he has to be backed. So if the managers... Look, we got rid of Andy Johnson, okay? So was that ruthless or was that stupidity? Because we never replaced him, right? Brendan Johnson, sorry. We got rid of Brendan Johnson at Christmas, and we didn't replace him. And he was our leading goal scorer last season. So was that ruthless or was that stupidity?
I think it was good money, to be honest, because he's not kicked on at Crystal Palace, has he?
No. But do you think that was a good move to get rid of another player that had scored them? He scored all our goals last season.
But if a club's offering that sort of money, I wouldn't turn it down to all Spurs. What I'm saying is, like to Richarlison, other players in this squad, Moani, obviously go back. You've got to get rid of some of these players that haven't performed.
Jason, thanks very much indeed for the call, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Just a couple of quickies on Spurs. Chris says Vicario, Romero, Colomwani, Tell, Richarlison and Solanke all need to go. Paul
Harsh
says...
on Solanke.
Sorry?
Harsh on Solanke.
Yeah, it is. Look, he's had a terrible season injury-wise. Solanke won't be going.
Yeah, no.
He won't be going. And nor should he, in my opinion, because
agreed.
I think that, there's a goal scorer in there. And by the way, as far as Jason's concerned, I agree with him. There was reason to celebrate simply through staying up yesterday. I think that's cause to celebrate, not coming 17th, but... Of
course, yeah.
And Paul says here, he said, Tottenham are in a far better position than my team, Newcastle United. Thanks to shambolic recruitment of the past 2 years, we're in a terrible position. Elanga has to go. He's worth £20 million at a push.
That's a bad signing. Not worked.
Well, it just hasn't worked for him. I liked Elanga a lot.
At the right club, he would work.
But he was excellent there. But it hasn't worked. Vissa hasn't worked either. Not at all. And Voldemar, jury very much out. Yes. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the future of Nuno at West Ham. And also, while we haven't had anything from Southampton about Tonder Eckhart.
What was your overriding emotion last night, watching it all unfold and feeling as you do for this great club?
I think for me, it's Aston Villa, a sleeping giant. You know, European Cup winners in 1982. All you ever heard was, "Oh, you wasn't born. You wasn't born when Villa won that. They've only won last trophy was 30 years ago." So it was that pressure, sort of that monkey off the back for Aston Villa fans and the players and the football club. But emotion as well, Jim, because I spoke to so many Villa fans, parents that have passed away, you know, family members that have passed away, and what this would have meant to those people that aren't here today. And people are going through a lot. You know, everyone's going through a lot, football fans. What last night can do to give people a boost, what they're going through in their life. It was amazing to see my people, my fellow Brummies, so happy.
Brilliant. Your people. You're right, your people. In terms of legendary status, Gabby, where is this group now?
Oh, they're legends. And I say this all the time, Jim, I don't like to be called a legend. I feel legends of a football club need to win something. I really do. The 1982 players, they're legends of the football club. Now, these group of players are, and the one player, I don't like to pick one, but the one player that stands out for me is our captain. Scotland are lucky to have him, John McGinn. Immense, and I was so happy for him, what he's been through for this football club. The small price that Aston Villa paid for him was 2.5 million. What a player, what a nice guy, and what a captain.
Gabby, can I ask you personally, did you watch with regret last night that you never quite experienced a night like that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we got to the Carabao Cup final, we got to the FA Cup final and lost, but to get to a European final and get it over the line, the pressure that was on the players, because they were highly favourites in the game as well, to win against Freiburg, it wasn't like a jealous feeling. It was like, wow, I missed out.
Yeah, good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's 19 minutes past 9. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Time for a bit of this.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yeah, you can win a trip to the 2026 FIFA World Cup courtesy of Adidas. You and a mate could be in Dallas on June the 17th watching England against Croatia live. We're talking flights, hotels, spending money, tickets and the official Trianda match ball all included. Head to talksportwin.com to enter and for full T's and C's. Just a couple of quick texts. Paul says, Jeff, please thank Gabby for the shout on the radio a few weeks ago. My brother Steve texted in, Gabby wished me a speedy recovery while I was in Sheffield Hospital having cancer surgery. He put a right smile on my face. The nurses loved it. I went to the Etihad yesterday and saw our beloved Villa. Couldn't make Istanbul as it was less than 4 weeks post-surgery. So, Paul, glad to hear you.
Glad to hear that, mate. Well done.
Absolutely brilliant, yeah. Andy the Brummie says, morning, gents. Just thought I'd drop a line to say how much Gabby has grown into being a presenter at talkSPORT. Said, well done, that man. He says, P.S. Jeff's okay as well.
That's my brother, by the way.
Thanks very much indeed, Andy. And PD and Devon, great text about a more positive view of the Tottenham situation.
Yes.
He said, morning, gents. There are plenty of reasons to be positive. Adding Kudus, Madison, Kulusevski and Simons will bring creativity and goal threat, plus some decent recruitment as well. And De Zerbi is our most competent manager since Conte, with 11 points in 7 games from a squad that's just okay. Averaged out in a season, we'll be back in Europe for sure. Nice to hear some positivity. PD and Devon, that is.
That's some big losses, though, haven't they? Kudus.
Yeah.
Kulusevski not being available, Solanke out injured, Madison, Simmons, he won't be back next season.
Yeah,
Let's face it, he won't be back for most of next season.
And I worry about Kulusevski as well, because that injury is been so long term. So long term. But look, we wish them well, Dejan Kulusevski. I really enjoy watching him play. Yeah, really do. And now West Ham's 14-year stay in the Premier League sadly over as they were relegated thanks to Spurs beating Everton, and the Championship could mean the end of the road for Jarrod Bowen at West Ham. And, of course, what exactly will happen to the manager, Nuno? Well, talkSPORT's Alex Crook asked Nuno exactly that after the game yesterday.
No, it's not about that. It's about realizing that now is not the moment to do that. Your state of mind is not the right one. We are sad, we are frustrated, and just things will, you know what I mean?
Miraculously, from there, he's here. Crookie's in the studio. Morning, Crookie.
Good morning.
Morning,
good?
Alex. You all right, mate?
I'm good, you?
All well, mate. All well.
He'll be gone, won't he?
I think so, yeah. That was certainly the message I got last week. Don't expect Nuno to carry on in the Championship, be that because he wants to move on or because the club ultimately decide he's not good enough. But there's so many issues there, isn't there? I mean, this relegation, I think, feels more painful for West Ham fans than the last one because it's come at London Stadium. They were promised when they left Upton Park. Karen Brady said, didn't she, we're going to build a world-class team to play in a world-class stadium. They built a second-class team, and as I wrote on my piece on talksport.com, the stadium is more set up for shot putting than it is for sharpshooting. So it was a really demoralising atmosphere yesterday. They lost 104 million quid, according to their last set of accounts. They're going to have to sell Jarrod Bowen. They're going to have to sell Crescencio Somerville. Mavropanos was their player of the year. He won't stick around. John Claire Todibo, as I understand, actually refused to play yesterday and told Nuno that he wouldn't play for him again. So many problems for West Ham, and I don't think it's a guarantee they come straight back up.
As well, you look at Fernandes. He's one that will be.
He's a good player. I mean, he's been relegated twice from the Premier League, but he is a really good player and certainly one that Manchester United are looking at. I think that'd be a good piece of business for them.
We've seen as well, Crookie. You look at Leicester City last season, relegated from the Premier League, and a lot of their players couldn't get a move. Do you see a lot of some of these West Ham players? You probably think they're better than they are. Could end up staying at West Ham in the Championship.
Well, that's the other problem. You know, if you speak to people at Luton when they went down from the Premier League, one big issue they had was that there were a lot of players in the dressing room still earning a lot of money, still felt like they should be in the Premier League and didn't really have the attitude and application for the Championship. So whatever happens with Nuno, they've got to, if he stays, great, because obviously he's got a track record of getting out of the Championship. But if not, they need someone who knows the division and someone who's going to be able to piece the dressing room back together. Scott Parker's the name on a lot of West Ham fans' lips, and that makes sense. Obviously, club legend, former player of the year there himself, and his record when it comes to getting teams out of the Championship is second to none.
Yeah, his record of keeping teams in the Premier League is not so good, though.
No, indeed. Although he would probably argue that he wasn't really given the tools at Burnley this season.
Well, they spent a fair amount of money just on the wrong players, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
What about what's going to happen to Palace? Because obviously Oliver Glasner was speaking to the Palace fans at the weekend. You know, his final home game in charge. Of course, they've got a big cup final to come this week. So who's in line to replace him?
Well, we discussed this on the All Access podcast. Actually, we filmed it at the Redwood last night, and there are a lot of Palace fans who are coming back from the game, and they were all asking the same question: who's going to be the new manager. Andoni Iraola is the dream target. I think if they win this Conference League final and get European football, that possibly will help try and convince him. But we know there's interest from Bayer Leverkusen as well. Kieran McKenna is the other name that's been mentioned to me. Obviously got Ipswich back into the Premier League. His release clause is quite substantial. But I wonder if he may feel it's time maybe for a fresh challenge.
What about Marco Silva, Fulham? It's another one, isn't it?
He's got a big money offer on the table from Fulham. I'm told £8 million a year, 3-year deal. But I was also told over the weekend that he's just built himself a house in Estoril, which is not a million miles away from where Benfica play. And we know that if Jose Mourinho, as we expect, goes to Real Madrid, then Marco Silva becomes one of their top targets. He won't get the same money at Benfica, but obviously it's a massive club in Portugal. He's got European football if he goes there. So I think a big decision. Does he take the money at Fulham, or does he go and join a bigger club, and obviously one that's close to his heart?
£8 million a year for 3 years. Sign on the dotted line and head to Gatwick every other day that you can to get out to
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It's a complete no-brainer, isn't it?
It's a huge offer they've put on the table.
Yeah, he's obviously had a lot of frustrations there, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, and then their form tailed off, didn't it, really? They'll be looking at Sunderland. Brilliant story, the Black Cats getting in Europe. But Fulham fans, I think we're thinking, well, that could have been us had the season not sort of faded away. What are you smirking
Sorry,
at?
mate, I just got a message off Ollie, the producer. He said that, do you want to ask Crookie for an apology? About
Did he now?
Before Spurs played Wolves, I predicted, Jeff, on this show with Ali McCoy, that Spurs would get 11 points. They got 10 in the end. Crookie was messaging Ali McCoy, laughing at me. Social media was laughing at me that I'm crazy.
I nearly crashed the car into a tree on the
Can I have an
school run.
apology, please, Alex, please, mate? You know, it takes a good man, a strong man to apologise.
Well, actually, I think it's West Ham fans who are owed an apology. They're owed an apology from Unai Emery for that terrible Villa performance they put in against Spurs. And it doesn't sound like David Moyes did his old club much of a favour yesterday either. So
well, he did get handed out by them, didn't he?
so congratulations, but the fixtures didn't half fall well for you,
Yes,
didn't they?
did. Yeah. They did fall well for them. It was a good time to play Villa, and also last game of the season, Everton.
And they beat Wolves,
didn't they?
Just about beat Wolves.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. I did get a message from a Spurs fan on Twitter last night. Again, are you going to apologise for saying all season that Tottenham would get relegated? And I said, you know what? Congratulations on finishing 17th again.
Yeah. Brilliant. You mentioned Everton, by the way. I was with some Evertonians the other day, and I was surprised because I think they've had a very respectable season, a very respectable finish, not been involved in relegation at all, but there were one or two anti-David Moyes views there.
That's ridiculous to me.
I know.
I think he's done
That's what you wish for.
Exactly.
West Ham.
You know, you look at where they've been in recent seasons, they have been circling that drain, not quite falling down the plug hole, but to get them competitive at the top end of the table and at one stage in contention for Europe, I think he's done a wonderful job, David Moyes. He needs a striker because, being brutally honest, neither of those, Barry or Beto, are really good enough, are they?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. He's done a really good job. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for your apology.
Back at 10.
I am myself, Sam and Scott Minto.
Yeah. And don't forget, by the way, the Premier League All Access podcast is available wherever you listen to your podcast right now. Up next, though, Hull City are back in the big time. How have they done it? What does the future hold for them? We'll discuss that next.
It is a sensational story and so many strands to it. And I've seen a lot of Southampton fans who've come out in condemnation of the club. They say this is the darkest day in their long history. And I think a lot of Southampton fans are quite embarrassed at the way in which their name has been dragged through the mud. As you say, the punishment is immediate expulsion from that playoff final on Saturday, the £200 million game. So they have been stolen of the right to possibly get back into the Premier League the first time of asking, and a 4-point deduction for the start of next season. That's because, as I understand it, the EFL argued that the playoffs needed to be treated as a separate cup competition. Obviously, Southampton admitted spying on Middlesbrough, so that's where that punishment comes from. They also admitted over the course of this hearing with the Independent Commission spying on at least 2 other Championship teams, which is why there's also a points penalty for next season. Southampton appealed it immediately, not because they feel they're innocent, but because they feel the punishment doesn't really befit the crime. One of the things I was told coming out of St Mary's is they feel this is unprecedented. It is, because there isn't a precedent. I know that Marcelo Bielsa escaped with a fine, but it was only after that incident ahead of the Leeds final playoff with Derby that it was put in the rule book. So this is uncharted territory. Southampton have told staff in an email that I've seen from the chief executive, Phil Parsons, their legal team are confident they've got a strong case. They're going to keep preparing for this game on Saturday. I don't think it's going to be overturned in terms of Southampton being allowed to play this final. What could happen is a sort of halfway house where the points deduction gets rescinded. But I think there's enough evidence that Southampton will not take their place at Wembley. We're hearing stories of analysts dressing as staff wearing the kits of non-league Eastleigh when Ipswich were using their training ground in order to spy. So this is quite sinister in many ways. This is not just some bloke who's turned up at the Middlesbrough training ground and filmed a few minutes of training. So I think they're banged to rights. I think they've shown very little contrition. I think it's poor that we haven't had a statement from Southampton in the aftermath of this punishment. We still haven't heard officially from the club.
Yeah,
we're a long way down the line now. Surely they should have had something prepared.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure. However, Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. The perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. The Tigers are back in the Premier League. Those Tigers are Hull City with a late goal from Ollie McBurney. This is how it sounded on talkSPORT.
It's the playoff final that was never meant to happen. Middlesbrough against Hull City.
Giles will lift it into the box. It's towards McBurney with the header. It's tipped over the top by the goalkeeper. Did it hit the crossbar first? Strelitz has out-hustled the defender. Left-footed shot towards the far corner.
It's the fear of failure almost, isn't it? Some players really can't release themselves in these big games.
Hirakawa down the left-hand side. Ball into the near post. Comes to McBurney! Off the goalkeeper and in! He rips his shirt off and runs away in celebration. Ollie McBurney may just have sent Hull to the Premier League.
Well, he may be big, he may be brash at times, but he knows where the goal is.
You know, I kept saying to you about this whole team. They've got that ability on the break to find a moment, and they found the moment.
It goes back into the arms of Ivor Pandor, and finally, that's it. The Tigers are back in the big time. They stream onto the pitch from the bench to celebrate their success because Hull City are promoted to the Premier League.
Funny old week for Ollie McBurney, wasn't it? Left out of the Scotland squad and then getting the decisive goal at Wembley. He told talkSPORT he believed they could do it even when no one else did.
People didn't believe it, but you know, that's the discussion we had from the start of the season when I joined. You know, Gran Canaria is a lovely place to live, and I didn't want to leave it for a mediocre project. And you know, it was really exciting the whole season. I fancied us, we fancied us. Not a lot of other people did, and somehow we've done it. So yeah, feel really happy with my decision.
Yeah, he joined 3 days before the start of the season. Let's just say straight away, by the way, before we talk about Hull, from Middlesbrough's perspective, they dominated possession. They can have no complaints. They had 2 chances. They were reinstated after the defeat against Southampton.
No shots on target.
They didn't have a shot on target.
It was a dull game, and Middlesbrough were quite poor.
Yeah,
Hull, they dug in, they defended, didn't they? Bodies on the line. And I feel like the goalkeeper, Jeff, what he's tried to do is he's tried to make sure he covers the near post.
Yeah.
But then he's just stretched too far. And I felt sorry for him because... Yeah, I just felt sorry for the keeper. Horrible.
Yeah, you sort of did. He'd had precious little to do, and he's a Middlesbrough boy, and you know. But hey, that's one of the perils about being in goal. You make a mistake, costs you a goal, doesn't it? Look, let's talk Hull City. Delighted to say we're joined now by somebody who was promoted with Hull in 2013 and again in 2016. It's the former Republic of Ireland star David Malo. Morning, David.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, gents. How are we?
You all right, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Look, how did they manage this then? A team under a transfer embargo, avoided relegation on goal difference on the last weekend of last season, and bringing in a lorry load of free transfers. How have they done it?
Do you know what, Jeff? It probably starts last season when they stayed up on the final day. They were away at Portsmouth, and it just started to galvanise the group. And then the recruitment and the manager and the owner brought in some key players in key areas that have just strengthened, and they've brought a real togetherness in the group. Like, I know you touched on it there, Gabby. The game wasn't an end-to-end classic, but it was typical Hull performance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They sat in that 5-2-3, were very dogged, really defensively good, hard to break down, and just stayed in it. And they've done it time after time all season, where they've managed to find ways to get goals and keep clean sheets. And when you have a striker like McBurney, he's proven at that level. If you give him one chance, he's always in the right areas and he scores goals. And like, that's his 18th league goal of the season.
Yeah, Dave, you're spot on. Hull done everything they needed to do. They didn't have to play too attacking and keep themselves open. It was a perfect performance, the perfect end to the game. I was in Istanbul last week with Aston Villa, and the chairman, Ashun, took me out, and we had a good chat about Hull and his love for the club. And he said to me, David, that last season, he looked at those players and thought to himself, we should be nowhere near relegation battle. So he was confident that this team could get themselves into the playoffs this season.
Well, that's been the aim for the last few seasons. Even when you go back to Liam Ross Sr., they just missed out on the final day. And that's always been his ambition, is to get the club back into the Premier League. He's put in quite a lot of money. He's created a real buzz around the place. Obviously, I've no doubt some of you have seen the pictures in, Box Park of him chatting to the fans and whatever. That's been happening now for years throughout bars and pubs in Hull. He's a larger-than-life character. Like you said, you met him, you'll know that.
Yeah.
Got big ambitions. So I'm delighted for him in terms of, like, he's had that drive and ambition to put the club forward. Look, they've got a lot of work ahead of them, but it's certainly been like an unbelievable, season. And then Saturday just, topped it all off.
But, I mean, we give a lot of stick to people, involved in recruitment at football clubs. You look at their recruitment. I mean, obviously McBurney, and they've gone for experience, haven't they? John Egan, 33, Semi Ajayu's 32, Joe Lundstrom's 32, Paddy McNair, 31. And they've all come in for nothing, basically, which is incredible. But looking ahead, Dave, to next season, people will write them off. Of course they will. But how much encouragement can Hull and their supporters take from what Leeds United have achieved this season, and more particularly from what Sunderland have achieved this season?
Exactly, and that's what you like. I've no doubt in the next probably day or two, the club are going to sit down and they're going to look at what's going to happen over the next 12 months. That's got to be the aim. They've got to try and stay in the Premier League. Now they're going to have to add to the squad. Players will be aware of that. There's going to be new bodies coming in. It's just, do you go again? Like Jeff, you touched on those individuals that they brought in: Lundstrom, Egan, McNair. They all have, championship experience, been in and around it, promotions. So they're going to have to try and get some, Premier League experience that can help players who haven't played there to help them try and stay in the league. Like you touched on Sunderland, probably one of the signings of the season, has been Granit Xhaka. They bring him in and he's been a mainstay in the group. So that's what they're going to have to do. I've no doubt there are probably already conversations in place, looking at players. Obviously, contracts are all up in the end of June, so they'll be looking at players who might be available. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of unfolds in the next few weeks with Hull.
What's the feeling with the fans, David? Because I'm sure some fans are quite nervous going back to the Premier League because we know how hard it is in the Premier League and we don't know what Hull are going to be able to bring in. Do some fans, not that they don't want to be in the Premier League, but are they nervous of what's coming?
Come on, Gabby. You know what it's like. Any fan that gets promoted back to the Premier League, like straight away you're looking at like Liverpool, United, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, even Villa. You want to, like, those are the games you want to be involved in. Those are the games you want to go and play. For the fans, like I think there was 36,500 Hull fans came down. There's a real buzz around the place. This group was really connected with them, and then like I touched on with the owner, so like they're all excited. Of course, nobody's deluded. It's going to be extremely difficult. You've seen it even this season with the teams, like the amount of money they've spent and how difficult it is to stay up. But look, those are conversations behind closed door for the next few weeks. It'll be interesting what happens, like I said.
We haven't mentioned the manager yet, Sergei Kurovic, but I'll be honest with you, David, when he came in, I'd never heard of him. But we've all heard of him now. Big character, isn't he?
Oh, big character, big man. Start of pre-season, I met him. Now, Jeff, I'm 6'3". He's standing over me with his chest out. He's a big man. But he's got a great presence. And it's just the way he manages the players. All of them speak really highly of him. Obviously, he's got some really good staff they've created a great togetherness within the group. And then the players are like kind of pushing that on. You see the emotions after. Like it's truly a special week for them group of players and staff.
Brilliant, David. I hope everybody at Hull enjoys it. I think certainly on the day they deserved it.
Yep, definitely.
So well done.
Everyone writ them off as well. Millwall, 2 legs.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
I've got one, Jeff. Obviously, after the game the other day, obviously you guys there just had the commentary on talkSPORT. So I was sitting in hospitality in Gabby's posh seats. And, you'll never guess. I bumped into Sam Matterface, but you'll never guess who Sam was with.
Oh, go on,
man.
mate.
I bumped into Alan Pardew. It's the first time I've seen Alan in 12 years, 13 years.
Hope you both behaved yourselves.
Oh, no, we had a lovely chat. He started giving me some stick that I cost him a lot of money, but I said, it cost yourself a lot of money.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. I remember that. Wow.
David, thanks so much, mate.
Top man, Dave.
Cheers, guys.
David Miller, I'm sure.
I remember that.
We all remember that confrontation, world famous confrontation. Alan Pardew and David Miller.
Brilliant.
Me. A couple of quick texts. Andy says, morning, Jeff and Gabby. I watched my Newcastle yesterday. What on earth has happened to our performances this season? We've gone from fast, energetic performances to slow, boring football. There's something not right at this football club. We've gone back 10 years. And Jill just says, thank you very much indeed to the breakfast team. They've helped me so much with my mental health. United third in the Champions League, and in the Champions League has helped me too. Glad to be of assistance, Jill. Paul says, I think it'll be embarrassing for Hull next season. They're far weaker than Burnley were when they were promoted. Well, you just hold your horses, Paul, because I
think there will be, though.
Do not know.
I think naturally, as a fan, you're going to look at the Premier League and you are going to be a bit nervous. Not that you don't want to be in the Premier League, of course you do, but you are going to be a bit nervous of like, the Championship, we're winning so many games, the quality in the Premier League, what players we're going to bring in. But every fan will be excited, of course.
Sunderland lost 12 games in the Championship last season and went up and were written off by everyone.
Exactly.
And look at what's happened. You just cannot predict it.
Recruitment's got to be right.
Absolutely. Going to be an interesting summer for all of those clubs, yeah. Just a reminder, this summer we've teamed up with Aston Villa to bring you the ultimate World Cup fan zone at their brand new state-of-the-art venue, the Warehouse. It's right next to Villa Park. We're showing every single England game live on the big screen. You'll get a free drink on arrival. Tickets are flying, so secure your spot right now over at talksport.com/fanzone. Coming up, we hear from Pep Guardiola as he managed his last ever game as Manchester City boss. That's next.
Just explain what the story is.
Well, basically, Romero's injured. He can't play. Now, Spurs obviously played the biggest game of the season on Sunday. River Plate are playing against his former team on the last day of the season as well. Both teams can win the league, all right? His former club, that one that he grew up with. I don't know I can't remember the name. Anyway, they kick off at 7 on Sunday. He's gone to Argentina to watch the game instead of Spurs against Everton. Now that for me, the club captain not there on the final day of the season. If that doesn't sum up Spurs right there, that is an absolute joke. Now, there might be an argument to say he's injured, he's gone out to Argentina to get treatment because of the World Cup.
I don't care.
No, I'm the same. The club captain has to be at the final game of the season.
It's a joke.
Why is the club captain not at the final day of the season? He's going to watch River Plate. That is outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah.
That is a sackable offence.
Yeah,
and whoever's allowed that to happen, whether it's come from the top or Roberto De Zerbi, they should be ashamed of themselves. It sums up Tottenham in every aspect. That is allowed to happen. Like, if he don't want to be there, fine. No, he won't want to be there.
No, it's not fine.
No, it's not fine.
That's not fine.
But no, I get that. But in terms of he don't want to be at the club, he wants out, right? Get that. But his teammates will want Romero around the dressing room. His teammates, the people that he's played around, the people that he's played alongside, he's been in the trenches with, and he's decided to go and watch River Plate on the last day of the season. It's disgusting. It's a joke.
I am absolutely. When Ryan told me this, I looked at him and had to gaze in his eyes. I said, "What are you talking about?" I'm thinking, what game is that day? Can he get back from Argentina? Why is he doing that anyway? No, he's going to miss one.
Yeah, they kick off 7:30 on Sunday.
That is.
It's outrageous, mate. It's outrageous.
Maybe he knows what's happening. Maybe he knows you're going to play in Championship football, and he's thinking, do you know what? Right, I know where we're going. I'd rather go and watch a decent.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
And Spurs.
That's not the point. You can't get away with that. You're a club captain. Club captain is not there on the final day of the season. That is.
It's disgusting.
It is so bad. So bad.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, May the 25th. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Some headlines this morning. Alan Pardew's back, Scott Parker to take over at West Ham if Nuno Espirito Santo departs after their relegation. George Russell suffered a major blow to his title hopes, having to retire from the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, handing victory to teammate Kimi Antonelli. And Pep Guardiola bowed out with defeat in his final game as Man City manager. He leaves having won 6 league titles. He spoke to the Etihad crowd after the game yesterday.
I'm so nervous, terrified right now. Why you love me so much? Why you do that to me? I never could imagine the amount of love. I have been an incredible, tremendous honor to be your manager, to be here during 10 years. Like the video is so long, and the reason why, that the amount of trophies and incredible emotions. Please, I would love not just remember the trophies that we won. That's the reason why I could stay 10 years, otherwise nobody can sustain so many years here. Is hopefully we provide you through this unbelievable players. They are here, and the players that was in the screen provide some emotions that the people come here in Etihad Stadium and feel maybe we are going to have fun. And that is the reason why we are here.
So what does the future hold for Manchester City? How do you follow Pep? I'm not sure you want to be the next cab off the rank after Pep Guardiola, do you? But what do they need to do to make themselves not contenders? They are contenders. What do they need to do to make themselves champions again?
I think first of all we look at the squad of players they've got. Semenyo, love him. Doku's been outstanding. Shirky's been outstanding. But that midfield area for me, Rodri's been off it since that injury. Nico Gonzalez, I don't think he's at the levels that Manchester City need in that midfield. They're losing Bernardo Silva. They have to replace him. Nunes at right back. Listen, he's done a good job. He's not a right back. He's a midfielder. That Rico Lewis isn't at the level they need. So I'll go out and get a top right back. Midfield and right back is where they need. I think Marmoush is a decent player as backup to Haaland. But midfield, you look at the midfielder Arsenal have got. Look at the midfield that other Premier League clubs have got. Even Chelsea, even though they haven't been in great form, Fernandes and Caicedo. I just think they're going to be light in there. Go out and bring in a top midfielder. Kovacic is getting on as well. He's had his injury problems. So definitely midfield for me.
Yeah, I mean, we know they're losing Stones and Silva and Edison. There are rumours about Rodri going as well. Does a Manchester City without Pep Guardiola in charge, especially when we still don't know the outcome of those 115 charges, does it have less appeal to incoming players? Will they find it harder to sign 100%. Really big names?
I think, listen, the success that they've had, of course, but a lot of players would have signed for Pep Guardiola because you're getting to, you're going to win things.
You want to play.
Yeah, you're going to win trophies. The only plus is that Maresca has worked under Pep and will know some of the players that were there when he was assistant to Pep Guardiola. So maybe he's got a relationship with them there. But the pressure's on, Jeff. The pressure is really on in the summer. What players is he going to be able to bring in? What players is he going to want out himself? Will he come in and say, Foden? What's he going to do with Foden? Is he going to play more next season? Because you've got that problem with Shirky in that same position. There's loads and ifs and buts, but I wouldn't want to be the one that replaces Pep Guardiola. I really, really wouldn't, because we saw with Alex Ferguson. Yes, this squad of players in a better place than the squad of players for Alex Ferguson left. But the way Arsenal are stacked in every position, I just think they're going to be the team to beat again. I really do.
Okay. And City, do you see that, they're set to be the bridesmaids again, or do you see a decline?
Next season, decline in City again? It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. Let's not forget how important Bernardo Silva has been for that football club.
Been a wonderful.
David Silva was then. David Silva left. Bernardo Silva's taken over. That's a big position to fill. Some of the performances, Jeff, even to the latter stage of the season, I can't remember the game, but he was clearing crosses. He was heading crosses away. He was sprinting back. I think it might have been against Arsenal, the last game against Arsenal. He was everywhere. Right back, Nunes, you need to go and replace him. Bring in someone that can at least challenge him for that position. I just look at Arsenal, stacked in every position, going to have money to spend again in the summer to strengthen. Good luck. Chelsea won't be good enough. They need a lot of change, need time with Alonso. Liverpool are in a mess. Aston Villa can't spend money. So I think it will be Arsenal's league again next season.
Yeah. What do you see next for Pep? Does it have to be a job managing a national team, do you think?
I think it's going to be something to do with Manchester City, isn't he? An advisor.
Yeah.
I did see something in that. But when football's been your life as a player and a manager non-stop, Jeff, give him a year and you start to get itchy feet and you're like, okay, what national team's available? What if Thomas Tuchel doesn't work out and we don't win anything? Could that be one that he looks at? Brazil, people spoke about as well. Probably not, obviously not Spain, because he's Catalonia, but it wouldn't surprise me if he thought, why not finish and try and win a World Cup or Euros with England, maybe. Wouldn't that be special?
That would be an interesting prospect, wouldn't it? That's for sure. Last text. Hi, Jeff and Gabby. Can you give the Smiths and the Bakewells a shout out? We're all on our way to Wembley to watch Notts County hopefully get themselves into League One by beating Salford. There are 3 generations of Smiths going down, and the Bakewells have 30 friends and family all on one bus.
Amazing.
So
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Hope you have a great day out. Sounds like you're going to have a fantastic time on the way down anyway. Will you have a fantastic time on the way back? We shall see. Don't forget, you can hear that playoff final, Salford against Notts County, live on talkSPORT.
Actually, one quick question. How does Southampton bounce back next season? Their reputation.
I think it'll take a number of seasons before their reputation's rebuilt, to be honest, Gabs. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. And do you think next season that they will get promoted? They've got every chance, haven't they, that group of players? They've got to try and get over this.
If they can keep those players.
Exactly. Get over this disappointment.
I'm slightly surprised that nothing's come out about the manager just yet. In fact, the club has been very quiet in it. I mean, maybe that's the right way to play it.
Take your time, no rational decisions, and see what's best for Southampton.
I think
maybe
that's right.
Him keeping his job might be the best for them coming up next season.
Yeah.
You never know, do you?
Yeah, no, I mean, you really don't know. But as far as Southampton fans are concerned, they're probably just glad it's all over now.
Yes.
Okay. Look, Gabs, thanks very much.
Enjoyed that, mate. Thank you, Jeff.
Good fun. When will we hear you again?
I'm on Thursday. I don't know who with though. I think it might be Ali. I'm not sure.
Thursday? That's like a holiday. 2 days.
I know. I'm going to enjoy it. Loads of paddle for me, Jeff.
Good lad.
Going to enjoy it, mate.
Yeah, I'll be doing some.
It's my bank holiday Thursday because no one comes in on bank holiday, as we see.
I'll be doing some paddling as well.
Yes, why not?
Those little pools, I love them. Coming up next is Sam Mattisface, Alex Crook and Scott Minto. Joy Coisty and myself from 6 tomorrow morning. We'll continue to focus on the fallout from the Premier League. And, of course, the EFL playoffs will begin the build-up as well to 2 huge European finals this week. Set your alarms. See you tomorrow.
When you're sitting with your squad and you're looking to pick a squad of 26, you